What is going on, everybody? It is episode 681 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brat, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. It is not Woman Wednesday today because Dane had to give a rain check, so we are stuck with Kellen.
That's okay.
That was rude.
I'm just
stuck.
kidding.
That was.
I'm
rude.
just kidding. It's all positivity here. How are you doing, Kellen?
Dude, I barely got here in time, but that's okay.
That happens
very
literally
Brat of
every.
you.
They
that
waited
happens,
for me. They said they would have waited as long as they needed to until I showed up.
It's literally every time somebody comes here from West Virginia, they almost miss it.
It's like 100 degrees out there, man. I'm just moving a little
It's
bit
pretty
slow
bad.
today.
Yeah. It's which is funny because last week we had Craig here who's from Texas, and he's like, wow, it's so nice out here right now, because it was in like the 70s. I'm like, it hasn't been like that most of the summer. This summer's been hot as hell.
I think this is like the peak though, like today, and then it should get better from here.
We should hope. We can hope. And then stay in the 30s for the rest of the winter, hopefully.
That's crazy. That's insane.
I don't want none of that 0-degree temperature stuff out here. That's why I left Minnesota. All right, so what do we got to talk about today? Well, we got a bunch of stuff to get into, but before we get started, guys, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already, especially if you're new here. Remember to share the videos with your friends, your family, your loved ones, mortal enemies, everyone in between. The more people you share this podcast with, the faster channels like this grow. So thank you very much for that. And remember that all Super Chats, $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion and we will read those Super Chats right then and there, and then we will do our best to get back on topic. And those topics today, Mary had the misfortune of sharing with me about Swifties for Kamala. I suppose this was always coming, right?
This stuff is just destroying you, and I can see it happening in real time.
Yeah, because they're all just
What's the problem?
Well, they're all just commie bastards. It's
Yeah,
what
but
it is.
that
I
should
mean,
make
it's-
sense. I mean, that it only makes sense.
Making sense doesn't make it less
Palatable.
awful. like lots of stuff in the world makes sense, doesn't mean I like it, right?
Dibs on repealing the 19th. We're going to be talking about the Swifties who are mobilized in favor of Kamala.
We're doing that. We're also going to talk about how Brat Summer has been canceled. If you don't know what Brat Summer is, I encourage you to go back and watch our other videos on the topic. But wait till after the show today, because we got a bunch of stuff to get into related to that. First, it started out that Kamala was Brat, then it was Brat Summer. Now Brat Summer's canceled. I can't keep it all
Sabrina
straight.
Carpenter Brat? Would you
no,
consider
not
her?
at all.
You don't
Two
think so?
Not
put
at all.
together.
She is
But
polished.
she kissed Jenna Ortega. Isn't that
That's
Brat?
not Brat.
Oh, well.
I have
That's
no
not
idea
Brat.
why that's not Brat, but whatever.
seems Brat.
We'll get into
She
it.
looks like she bathes. Sabrina Carpenter looks like she showers in the morning.
Yes. So we're going to talk about
That's
it.
not Brat.
We're also going to talk about this article that I found. It was a study they did that says social media is single-handedly destroying the mental health of Gen Z. And they're like, but wait, we're not going to stop. Which is, that's what drug addicts do. So it's perfectly in line. Social media is a drug anyways. Your phone is basically a dopamine dealer that's just giving you hits intermittently.
It's a soft drug.
Yeah, it is. So
They
we're
know
gonna
what's good for them, but they just don't care.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about, listen, guys, new sexuality just dropped. It's a new one every day. In this case, abrosexual. If you want to know what that is, you're going to have to stay tuned because it's got nothing to do with magic, believe it or not.
Yeah, it does not mean that you're exclusively attracted to magicians.
You never know. So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. You guys ready? We can just get started. Mary, you ready?
Let's go.
Kellen.
Yeah.
We're off to the races today. We're making good time already, I can tell. All right, first things first, Lizzo is going to be taking a break from the industry because she's having her own glow up.
Yeah, she posted this video of herself just basking in the rain on a balcony somewhere.
I don't think this is the one that I saw initially, but there was this great one where this guy says she wasn't even that big, and it just got turned into its own thread.
Oh yeah, someone did say that, like,
Comparatively?
you guys act like she's so huge.
No, they
like
were
she's
saying that
600-pound.
They were
like,
saying before she wasn't that big.
like no.
No,
This-
I've seen a few people.
It's like those videos that you watch before bed of rain on a...
Yeah.
right.
I bet it's nice though.
Actually, somebody should do that. Somebody should make like a faux channel of like rain on a window that's like 3 hours long, and like Lizzo just randomly appears.
Dude, there's
So that's her.
Internet. I think I've told you before, Brett. There'll be like 8 hours rainstorm, but at like hour 4 in like
just
22
jump scares
minutes,
you?
it's like someone being murdered. Like it's someone like screaming and being like it's funny. It's a good
That's
troll.
funny
Wake you up
because
at
that's
4 a.m.
one of my earliest memories is like when Hold on, Mary Kay. I got to.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
No, I'm proud. I've seen a few accounts poking fun at Lizzo for this, like still. And
For
I'm
what?
like,
For losing weight?
like still, but they're still like not actually letting her have the win. They're still like, sly remarks.
They would probably say she doesn't get the win until she actually loses the weight. Until she's actually a normal
If
weight.
you look at all like the red pill manosphere like gym content, they're all like, they would denounce that though. They were like, hey, always encourage someone who's trying to make themselves fit and do better. And I think this should apply here. I'm glad. Because I mean, you've seen how explosive she was on stage before. You know, and like her performances, like fans should really.
It's impressive for someone her size anyway.
And
so
yeah, it should only be.
Imagine how
here.
great she'll be when this is over. So this is her on her weight loss journey, and she captioned it on Instagram saying that she was taking a gap year.
Good.
So she's not going to be working on music or doing press.
Talk about
Just
privilege. You could just
working
take
on
a year
herself.
off. It's like whenever people would be like, take a year off and travel. I'm like, where does that money come from?
It's funny how when the strike happened, every A-lister in Hollywood acted like they didn't have money to live off of.
What am I gonna do?
Like,
Who is it? The guy who was in the Camila Cabello Cinderella movie.
I did not watch that movie,
He was,
thankfully, so I don't know.
He played the fairy godmother. The guy.
Oh, the drag
Yes.
queen
Yeah.
fairy godmother?
What was that dude's name?
I don't know.
I forget that guy's name. Somebody in the chat probably knows who I'm talking about. He was talking about how he had to like sell his house because of the strike.
Oh, yes, I very vaguely remember that.
Billy Porter.
Porter, yes, that was it.
Isn't there a strike
My
going on
brain
right
working.
Yeah.
now? Isn't there an active strike? I think for like video games right now. For actors?
There was talk of a strike
I
in
don't
the
know if
video
that's
game
still going
industry,
on.
but we don't know if anything came of it after all.
Billy Porter was the one.
Yeah, Billy
talking
Porter.
about.
We forgot about him. He's the one who always wears tuxedo gowns
Yes.
because he's an attention
Like,
seeker.
like an old like German vampire hunter. Like, is that what you're talking about?
It's literally just the top half is a tuxedo, the bottom half is a skirt. That's it. And he wears that to every red carpet because he needs people to talk about him.
I've seen this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And back to your point before, there was like this skate video that got released in the early 2000s where it had like a really calming DVD menu sound. And then if you let it play for too long, it would just scream at you. So it's like just long enough for you to fall asleep, like with it playing in the back, like on your TV. And then like 30 minutes go by and then it cuts to a guy taking the lens off a camera and just screaming into it as loud as he can. And then it goes back to the menu.
So I'm guessing that's what happened to you.
Great trolling via DVD. That was trolling before you could do it on the internet. You trolled via DVD menus back in the day. That's another thing.
I hate DVD menus. It gives me like really bad memories of being the last person to fall asleep at the sleepover.
Why?
Because we would watch a movie and everyone
what
would
else
fall
are you supposed
asleep
to
and I was
do?
just sitting there
Yeah, do you
with
play
the
it
DVD
again?
like menu playing and I was creeped out by it.
Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and it's just like the loop is going? It's like a 30-second,
I
1 minute
hate it.
loop of like, because they had like music on the,
It's
the main
so
menu.
ominous. The studio logos and then DVD menus on repeat freaks me the hell out.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Like, but back then that's the whole thing. What it was is it played the same 30-second calming music loop
Calming.
for 30 minutes, and then it cuts to the clip of the guy yelling. So it was something that they did do during the DVD menu creation, which is
Sociopaths.
also, remember back in the day, like you could find secret menu, like there were secret menus. Like in a lot of movies and television stuff
I
that
didn't
you had to
know
go
about that.
searting to find. Maybe that was something unique to skate videos, but they would hide stuff in the
That's
DVD
cool.
menus that you'd only be able to find if somebody had already gone and like say you scroll down on the menu and it's like play, chapters, extra features, and if you just hit down and you hit play, chapters, extra features, and you hit down again, it goes back to the top. But if you start at play and hit up, it brings you down to a menu below extra features, which has extra content, and then you'd go looking for it on DVD menus.
You guys
Easter
you should
eggs.
make like a video about all the different secret menus of
Yeah,
DVDs. That'd be cool.
That was cool.
If
stuff.
anyone had
Like
DVDs
a nostalgia.
anymore.
Dude, you can get them at the yard sales now, like for $1 a piece.
I won't.
They're all scratched. They don't play.
DVDs.
No, I'm just joking. Like that was like a thing when I used to like buy used video games when they were still on discs.
Oh yeah.
And movies, like you couldn't just see that a guy was selling it. You had to open it up and check the disc.
There's episodes of TV shows that I can't watch anymore because I love the audio commentary version of it so much that I won't go and rewatch the episode because it's not the same. And I would pay a premium for a streaming service that had all of the audio commentaries for the movies and television shows that they have.
If Criterion had its own streaming service, that would be on it.
Do they? I think they do. Don't they
do?
I thought Criterion did.
I don't know what that is.
I thought I don't.
But yeah, just saying that I think DVD menus is a lost art that we will never see again. I don't know what that has to do with Lizzo losing weight, but maybe she's watching workout DVDs.
Someone commented Lizzo losing weight is offensive to me. Why?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
No.
Self-improvement is a good thing. It shouldn't offend you.
Somebody left a comment the last time we talked about this that the goal shouldn't be skinny, the goal should be to be healthy. What do you say to that, Mary?
I hate that.
I knew you'd hate that.
That's stupid.
I knew you'd hate that.
That is stupid.
Yeah, because then you let people, like, being healthy is subjective.
Right. It's too subjective where, people who are objectively unhealthy will just say that they're healthy.
Yeah.
You can be healthy at any size. No.
Well,
and also, if you're skinny and unhealthy, good for you. Am I the only person with the courage to say that?
There's a lot of ways you can be skinny and unhealthy.
I'm seeing, like this heroin chic, like, theme come back.
Yeah.
It seems like
I support it.
The big is beautiful and the thick crowd that seems to be kind of like dying out.
I support it. It's far more attainable than whatever Kim Kardashian was selling.
It's like the early 2000s are coming back.
You shouldn't do drugs, but there's nothing wrong with being skinny.
You definitely shouldn't do drugs.
You don't need to do drugs to be skinny anyway.
All right, let's move on then, shall we? So we now live in a time where you don't even you have to be an unnamed Hollywood producer. Right?
Yeah, why did he choose to be anonymous to say this?
It wasn't even a controversial statement, but it says an unnamed Hollywood producer says that Glen Powell is the biggest up-and-coming movie star, quote, in the sense that audiences now go to movies to see him. Unlike actors like Ryan Gosling, whose appeal is mostly limited to female audiences, Glen appeals to both males and females. I did see an article that Andrea Mew, friend of the channel, wrote recently about what men consider the ideal movie star look or something like that, and I think Glen Powell was up there. I think he was, he was up there.
It's weird to juxtapose Glen Powell with Ryan Gosling because usually he is compared to Tom Cruise.
Yes.
And they're claiming that Ryan Gosling is only appealing to female audiences.
That is not true.
That is the opposite.
Have you seen Drive or Blade Runner 2049?
Drive and Blade Runner 2049 are the quintessential male Kino movies.
Well, that might be what it is. Is like Powell's now stepping into the it guy, and Gosling's had his time in the sunshine.
Maybe if Barbie were made 5 years later, then Glen Powell would have taken the Ken role.
He probably would have done it.
A lot of people were saying Ryan Gosling was too old for that role anyway, but he pulled it off pretty well.
And he was the best
part. And men
part
liked it. Men loved that part of the Barbie movie.
He single-handedly saved the movie experience for the men whose girlfriends dragged them along.
And similarly, Glen Powell carried Anyone But You. He is actually the reason that movie was popular. Sydney Sweeney hasn't proven through the failure of Madam Web that she is a box office draw.
No, and also he did the movie Hitman, which I really, really enjoyed, which is reliant heavily on his ability to portray eight or nine roles throughout the movie. And I went to see Twisters because I was like, look, this dude is the closest you're going to get nowadays to a modern day box office star.
And I forget the name of the actress who actually starred in the movie.
Daisy Edgar Jones.
Yeah, right. Okay, totally forgettable. Once again, Glen Powell was carrying that entire movie on his shoulders.
She's not even bad in the movie. She needs a better, more charismatic actor to play off of in the role, and he is that.
And he issued his own humble brag in response to this headline,
it was
saying,
actually perfectly done.
Gosling is a legend. I'm just Glenn.
That's perfect. That's right out of the PR manual.
Love that.
And how to handle
I think guys like the characters that are action stars, badasses, but then also have a funny side to them.
Well, his bio says proud Texan, diehard Longhorn.
Who, Powell?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, if you look at characters like Billy Butcher from The Boys, Deadpool. Most of Glen Powell's characters usually have a funny, twist to them. I think that just resonates with men, where it's like it's fun because there's action, but it's also not that serious.
Yeah, I mean that was a big part of one of the things that I critiqued that I really liked about Twisters was like they let him be kind of a pursuant hound. He really wanted this girl, and they don't make you feel bad like he's doing something wrong. He clearly has a thing for her. He clearly likes what he sees, but he's never portrayed as like lecherous or weird.
There was one part that was played off as normal, but was kind of weird when he showed up to her house.
Dude,
he just showed up to her house.
I've seen it on Sunday for the first time.
They released the honest trailer. I'm sorry, they released the honest trailer for Twisters, and it's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It was a little odd because he had no idea where she lived, and he just like found it and showed up for no reason. And his mom is like, "I love you."
Yeah.
Or no, her mother,
yes,
was like not creeped out by it either. But weird.
Look, that's movie logic.
It's fine. It's fine.
That's movie. It's the movie logic in the same way.
Movie logic that there are 20 tornadoes in the same town, like within the span of like a week.
Does anybody know
That's not
fine.
uncommon.
Well, Tornado Alley, that might be pretty common.
Yeah.
But like, does anybody have a friend like Kramer who just barrels into your apartment at any given time, right? Like, that's a little bit of television logic, you know? He lives across the street and he just...
Dude, okay, but that was a whole different era.
Across the hall, not the street.
I mean, that was a whole different era where you could actually leave your door unlocked, like, and it'd be okay. You know,
is that true? You could leave your apartment unlocked in New York City?
If you knew your neighbors, like, which most people did, like, you knew your immediate neighbors, because usually you have a doorman, and to get into the actual building, you need a key.
I don't know. I find it hard to believe, but
like,
maybe...
Like, you know, this is like Giuliani.
Maybe,
just
in
cleaned up
Giuliani
the
era. That
like,
would be normal.
It's different time.
Glen Powell, I see what they wanted, like, certain other actors to become. Like, there have been times where they definitely push different actors to try, like Scott Eastwood. They wanted to make Scott Eastwood a thing for a couple of years. You know, he's Clint Eastwood's son. Didn't really work.
Well, Jenna Ortega is
still
also
a good actor. He's
rising to prominence in a similar way to Glen Powell right now.
Yep.
And recently, she revealed that she auditioned to play Shawnee in Dune.
Never forget what they took from you.
And they chose Zendaya instead. I will never understand that.
Really?
I mean, if the goal was to make... Okay, here's the thing. If the goal was to keep the character exactly as they portrayed in the movie, then Zendaya is the perfect casting choice.
My whole thing, though, is Zendaya, like, proved that she can be an action star in the Spider-Man movies. What has Ortega done to prove that she can be an
nobody
action
goes
star?
to a Spider-Man movie to see...
No, but there's a resume. You know, she has something to say, hey, I'm a better person for this role because I've already done the jumping and running around and CGI. Like, I'm used to all that stuff. I love Spider-Man.
Well, a lot of people said that Shawnee was totally different in the books.
I didn't read the books.
Compared to the way that they portrayed her in the movies, and that Zendaya just made her, like, brooding to the point where it wasn't even attractive.
I mean, I haven't read the books, but if this character is supposed to be something of like a warring like tribe, you know, like nomads that fight and stuff, I have a hard time seeing Jenna Ortega being better than Zendaya.
Spike in Madness says no, she isn't. But what I mean is, like, okay, so imagine Denis Villeneuve says, I want somebody that's brooding and has one facial expression and looks unbelievably boring the whole time. Then we cast Zendaya.
Without the boring part, Jenna Ortega is perfectly capable of being brooding and having one facial expression the entire time.
Yeah.
Just in a way better way than Zendaya.
What's the height difference?
Between her and Zendaya, probably a lot.
Yeah.
That could be
the better part of a foot.
That could be
well, also, I mean, when you have to remember that Dune came out not last year, where like Dune was several years ago, so Jenna Ortega didn't have the pedigree she has now when the original Dune came out. I did see a funny video the other day. You know the walk they do up the sand dune when they're trying to avoid the worm, where they put Ray Gun from the Olympics doing her like dance up the sand.
Yeah.
To avoid it. It's amazing.
One person commented Zendaya is a Nepo industry plant and looks like a gremlin. How is she a Nepo? I've never heard anything about her family.
Does she have a famous family?
Does she erase her last name for that exact reason?
Are they the Dayas? Is she Zendaya and I just didn't know this?
No, I have no idea. But I don't think she's an industry plant either, unless you think working for Disney makes you an industry plant.
Oh, like just because she works for Disney.
But so did Jenna Ortega.
I mean, that's why there's so many parents that try to get their kids into Disney and Nickelodeon stuff, because it almost guarantees you opportunities down the road.
Right. which happened.
So
Yeah, it is probably true that Jenna Ortega would be able to pull off a more endearing form of brooding.
Yes, that's exactly what Wednesday was.
Because it would come off as brooding and not just coming off as I don't know what facial expression to make now.
Zendaya just does this.
Yeah.
Scowl.
She always looks like she smelled something bad.
Wasn't that the point though? Wasn't she supposed to be like this tough shell, this like tough exterior that no one can really get through? And that's what I mean, maybe I'm understanding the character
I don't
wrong.
know if any of us are articulate enough to explain why, but she does it 1,000 times better than Zendaya. Jenna Ortega does. In Wednesday, she did exactly that, and it was endearing.
There's something
and not insufferable.
But that's what I'm saying. Is the character supposed to be like maybe the character's supposed to be
hardened
insufferable?
Hardened by war.
I don't think you're supposed to resonate with that character, at least how they portrayed it in the movie.
The thing is when when Jenna Ortega does brooding, it looks almost contemplative. When Zendaya does it, it just looks like she smelled something bad.
Yeah, that's
well,
accurate.
if you live in a desert, like a wasteland, you might have that face on you too.
Maybe she's smelling the spice.
You're just playing devil's advocate like you always do.
I can't see Jenna Ortega in that role. It's nothing against Ortega. I think if there was another option,
should have just cast Sydney Sweeney. No armor.
That was the best idea
no
I've heard all
armor and a
day.
corset. That's what they should have done.
We were robbed, essentially.
Never forget what they took. All right. So many years ago, obviously the scandal happened with with Chris Brown and Rihanna. And to this day, he's not canceled in any way, shape, or form. He continues to perform.
No,
he
women
continues to be very, very sought after, especially amongst the lady folk seem to love this guy. Yeah. But he finally met his match.
Well, I know we've talked about this on the show before, but Chris Brown does these insanely raunchy meet and greet photos with all of his VIP ticket holders. He grabs their asses and just does the most raunchy shit with them for these photos. And well, suddenly one of them walked in and was a gay man. And he did not get the meet and greet experience that the women got.
Let's watch this clip.
Nah, Chris Brown, you dead wrong, gang. This is not the meet and greet this nigga was looking for. What happened to the other poses, huh, Breezy? What happened to them poses, huh? My dog paid $1,100, man.
$1,100?
It's a lot.
He paid $1,100 for this goof ass pic, man. This shit is not fake.
He literally turned away. Turned the other way.
Yeah. He's not beating the allegations.
No.
Of
and I like this
womanizer.
pose. I think more French should do back-to-back arms crossed poses for photo.
Go to Sears and get your group photo. Actually, no, that's become an annoying millennial LOL so random trend where people go and get lame pictures taken professionally to make content out of.
Because it's lame on purpose.
Yes.
I don't mind it.
And
I think
got
it's
my
cute.
photo taken at Sears before. It's not lame.
It's cute.
But the point, did you do it as an adult?
No.
They do it where they purposely pick weird poses where the girl is holding the guy.
They use all the props.
Yes. Yeah. It's literally if you want to tell me that America isn't the greatest country on earth, then tell me why it is you have time to go do this.
The point is, if your girl goes to a Chris Brown concert, you are single. And I think you could say that about a lot of the female rappers too, which brings us to this video.
Okay. So it says, when you take your girlfriend to a... That was worth the copyright we're likely going to get.
I don't think it's a real song though. So I think we're good.
I don't think it's real.
Yeah.
Don't let her go to concerts, guys. Just tell her no. You're not paying.
Just say no.
Just say no, bros. You can
Protect yourself.
You can do it. All right, you know who else can't afford to go to concerts right now is Armie Hammer.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Poor guy. He said he can't afford gas in his car anymore after his career is in shambles.
Should have gotten an electric car.
So I've been back in LA for a couple of weeks now. This is my truck. I bought this for myself in 2017 as a Christmas gift for myself because I've had pickup trucks for a long time and I have loved this truck intensely and taken it camping and across country multiple times and on long road trips.
On the way to eat women.
On the way to barbecues.
That's so Brat.
This This is not an ad for CarMax. This is because I'm selling my truck. Since being back in LA, I have put about $400 or $500 worth of gas in it, and I can't afford it. I can't afford the gas anymore. I mean, this truck,
it's eating away at him.
Kids home from the hospital, all that stuff. Amazing trips. But you know what? That's okay. I got a new car. It's tiny. It's a hybrid. I'm probably going to put about $10 of gas in it a month. And this is it.
You know what it is? You know, I always talk. I was like, why is it that women like just voluntarily post their L's?
I was gonna say
is this what he's doing? Female behavior.
I was just gonna say, I understand the women when they say guys posting on social media like this gives them the ick.
Yeah.
I kind of get it.
Posting on social media,
Like,
period, or posting
Just like this,
something like
it's videos
this?
like this that make them say that.
Is he sympathy fishing?
Kind of.
Right now?
I mean, he literally mentioned like bringing my kids home from the hospital.
You're not going to get acting jobs by complaining online about how you can't afford gas.
This could have been an email.
You know what they could do? You know what they could do right now? If they really, if there was a daring producer out there right now, they would cast him as Hannibal Lecter.
Tarantino might.
Yeah.
Tarantino might. Like,
Would he do it?
Does stuff like that.
I mean,
Do you think he would do
honestly,
it?
he should do it because it like if we're to believe that everything that was said about him isn't true, and obviously we understand that the whole entirety of the allegations of cannibalism are ridiculous and boiled down to basically sexual fetishism. And if the idea is supposed to be that Hollywood is moral policing, then excuse me while I laugh.
I
Right?
don't know.
I don't know about the
I don't know
allegations
if
of
he
assault. I don't
was-
know if any of that's true.
I don't know
Okay?
if he was role playing when he said this, but he did tell one of these women he wanted to find a surgeon who would agree to remove one of her ribs so that he could eat it.
Well, here's the
Was
thing.
that role playing
Then
or
he
was
get-
he being serious?
Then here's the thing. He gets to be both Hannibal Lecter and Jack the Ripper.
You know, that might save his career.
Like
If someone were bold enough to sign off on that project, it might save his career.
some meme producer needs to be like, look, I've got an idea. We'll get Shia LaBeouf. We'll get Armie Hammer.
I got it.
We'll get Johnny Depp.
It's a cannibal movie directed by Wes Anderson,
There you go. That's perfect.
starring Armie Hammer.
They
So
could
it's
do
like he
that.
still has elegance while he's doing some really messed
Well,
up
that's what I'm
things.
saying about Hannibal, right? Like the entirety, like the whole point of that character, especially in the show,
Right.
not even the movies, like in the show, is that Mads Mikkelsen portrays a very, very elegant and refined person who has an absolutely disgusting secret.
He also has a look where he could play a rebooted version of American Psycho.
Bro, it's just like, I could have been Glen Powell if I hadn't liked to eat women so much.
It's funny that
true.
he would think that because it's not true.
Yep.
He actually doesn't have the charisma. He doesn't have the personality. He doesn't have that winning smile either.
People wanted him to be Batman. They really did. Like
Armie
they
Hammer.
really,
Armie Hammer, yeah.
they really saw him as a
I
Bruce
could see him
Wayne.
as I could see it.
Can he brood? Is he a brooder?
He's so uninteresting, and that's where I think all of the fetish stuff came from. Is like he was just picking out a random kink as a substitute for a personality trait.
He, you know what it is? Is he's also just putting off the inevitable, which is to go back to your family and ask for forgiveness. You know,
Has he been financially cut off?
yeah, he's
officially?
been cut off from the Arm and
fortune.
Hammer fortune, right?
Yeah.
So he needs to.
Open a barbecue restaurant.
I mean, really lean into it. Just lean into it.
Yeah, I don't think he has the guts.
You know-
Ha, get it?
But it.
Get it?
All right, guys.
Do you get it?
What would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day?
I thought we had to talk about a food reviewer.
Oh yes, Keith Lee.
It's funny that comes up at the same time as Armie
I
Hammer,
sent
though.
in Slack. I've got
Okay.
the picture of the rebuttal.
Okay.
Yeah. So a food reviewer named Keith Lee has recently found himself at the center of a major controversy because he traveled to DC, of all places, to review restaurants, and he found out the food was just so trash, he couldn't even post reviews.
You don't need to eat a lot of food when everybody in the town consumes adrenochrome and cocaine.
Yeah, I was like, what did you expect, bro? Like, they're politicians. They eat.
They drink expensive liquor, adrenochrome, and they snort cocaine.
Politicians don't eat food. They drink martinis and adrenochrome.
No, why? Because they feast off the actual livelihoods of the American people. That's what keeps them full, right?
So
that's their sustenance.
I sent you the video where he talks about visiting 12 restaurants in the DC area, but made a decision not to post about any of them because he feels his videos would not be constructive.
Here we go.
Me and my family are still in the DMV, and there's a few things I want to talk about, so let's talk about it. I know we only posted about 3 spots from Washington, but we went to about 12, and we made a decision as a family and as a team, and also a personal decision to not post most of them. So out of those 12, I probably only got like 1 or 2 more that I'm gonna post. And the reason for that, a lot of those videos, in my opinion, aren't constructive at all. And before the narrative start, I'm gonna show a few clips of the places that we did go to. And again, I don't think they're constructive. So for privacy of the restaurants that we went to, I'm not gonna say what restaurant it is. I'm gonna just show you a little bit of our personal experience. It's the whiting with the sweet potatoes and mac and cheese. Unfortunately, I won't be trying any of it. As always, I ain't trying to be rude, I'm just be honest. The smell of this, insane. This perforated the whole car immediately. So much so that my family went back in and asked if they fried it in the same grease that they did the shellfish. And come to find out, they do. And it smelled like it. It smells like shellfish. It smells like frozen fish. It smells like fish. It smells almost unedible, in my opinion. I don't want no smoke.
Spit it in there. Nobody will eat it.
The entire customer service experience, in my opinion and in my family's opinion, was completely unprofessional. It said on the IG that they opened at 1 o'clock. The truck didn't open up until 2:15. It took about 45 minutes. When they went back to go get the food, they saw her preparing. No gloves, no washing hands, grabbing money, grabbing strawberries, grabbing Fruity Pebbles, and putting it on top of our food.
Why were there Fruity Pebbles going on
Probably a
top of the
dessert
food?
place.
Oh no.
Some chicken tastes weird.
The reason there's no food in my hand is because a lot of the restaurants we've been recommended since we've been here look like this.
Just beige.
Like, no, even like the color of the photo is disgusting. Like, it's
Cursed.
It's cursed.
Oh, what
And I'm
even
not the
is
target
that?
audience just based on the pictures.
With her hands. She requires her hands. Scooping Fruit Loops with her hands.
He went to the wrong part of DC.
Yeah, he didn't go to any nice restaurants. He just
Okay.
went to like food trucks and got random fried bullshit.
Which is fine, but
There's a food truck festival coming up in Boonesboro.
the problem is, like, if you're from the area, you know, like the surrounding suburbs is where all the good food is. Silver Spring, Bethesda, Northwest, like Chevy Chase, DC. Like, that's where you find the really good hole-in-the-wall food spots. And they might even be food trucks.
He also claimed that the DMV is a bunch of alcoholics.
Well, that's true.
He said all of these restaurants focus on alcohol instead of food.
Yeah.
All of them are geared toward selling expensive drinks, not food.
Well, yeah, because they're going there for work meetings.
Well, also, like, a lot of these restaurants, especially when you're downtown, after 6 p.m., 7 p.m., they'll stop serving food, and it becomes basically a nightclub.
So if he had
that
posted
makes
these
sense.
negative reviews, I think that these restaurants would go out of business.
Thanks. No, not the ones serving
Is that-
alcohol. Those will be fine.
I mean, that's why he's like not
like,
posting about them.
He's going to
'cause-
these neighborhood spots.
Never
from,
buy tacos from a Chinese restaurant.
From what I saw, he's finding these spots that are like in these random neighborhood, not random per se, but these neighborhoods. So like the locals around that area where the food is right there, yeah, they put up with it and they think it's really good. But like, it's not something a tourist would. It's not a tourist destination.
No.
Meme Machine says the food probably slaps once you're plastered. That could be what it is, right? It's like you got to be a little bit wasted to like any of
Well,
it.
he just had mumbo sauce for the first time, and that's a huge DC thing, and he was blown away. He loved it.
One of the DC restaurants called Jerk at Night tweeted about his review saying, "We jerked Keith Lee. Thanks for coming."
Okay.
That's kind of weird.
You just know that they understood that was a marketing opportunity from the moment they started the business.
But people are really mad at him. One person tweeted, "I'm blocking Keith Lee because him and his fan base have the palates of picky toddlers. He came to my diverse, excellent culinary city and ate like a garbage disposal with a salt and cholesterol problem, then has the nerve to slander the DMV. F out of here."
If diverse is the first thing you list there, you've lost the plot.
Then eats like he aspires to lose fingers and toes.
Let's go.
So I guess that they're mad he didn't go to the spots they wanted him to go to.
Boo-hoo. Right. And then you did send this picture here.
Yeah, apparently this is from one of the restaurants.
Oh, it's just from that. It's literally that thing we saw the picture of.
It's not. It looks AI generated. Like, what am I even looking at?
So it's like some kind of gravy sauce that they put on the wings, and then the shrimp aren't cooked all the way.
Oh.
So they clapped back at him, didn't
And I'm
they?
sorry, but
looks
crinkle
a little
cut
bit
fries
gross.
can just kick rocks.
It's like,
Get the fuck out of here.
This is one of those
I hate
photos
crinkle
that
cut.
proves
Crinkle
that
cut.
more is not always good.
Like you said you don't like shoestring fries?
Shoestring and crinkle cut are bad.
I like shoestring fries.
shoestring.
Okay, crinkle cut fries are Satan.
I don't like crinkle cut either.
Like you can't honestly tell. Like just make waffle fries. Just make
Yeah.
waffle fries.
Well, waffle fries are more similar to shoestring in my opinion. Like crinkle cut are so thick, you might as well just eat home
potatoes.
fries. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and they're never seasoned right.
Yeah.
It's just.
I'm
it's
just
awful.
saying, Keith Lee, what did you expect? You're going to a city where no one eats, and no one is actually human. They're all lizard people, so they don't
actually eat food.
They live on a steady diet of baby blood, our own life force as the workers,
And your tax money.
and tax money,
what are
and they
his-
live off of adrenochrome and dirty martinis and Aperol spritz.
What are his
They don't eat.
criteria for picking these restaurants? Like, do
I
they
don't
have to
know.
be one location only? Do they have to?
He seems to choose like just the absolute worst ones, not going to any place that has like actually well-made food. He has an allergy to shellfish, which is like, how are you going to eat in Maryland
Yeah.
and not eat shellfish, bro? Why are you
Yeah.
even a food reviewer if you have any allergies in the first place?
Well, I'm
DC's
saying-
on the water too.
One day they will.
Like-
One day they will make a movie about him overcoming his allergy to become a prominent food reviewer.
He also just delivers this information like he's devastated, like
I
just
like
doesn't feel anything anymore.
Well, because I honestly think he's just like, okay, well, I just wasted a trip, and instead of all this income from this content I'm gonna make, like I can't. He's like, I can be a dick and post these terrible, terrible reviews
It'd be more
and make the
interesting.
money and make this trip worthwhile. I think that's that energy we're seeing. He's disappointed.
It's like when places get mad at Dave Portnoy when he gives a bad review for
the pizza?
One Bite Pizza reviews.
Oh
and stuff
yeah,
like
remember that guy who came out
Yeah.
of the restaurant and he was like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good look. Don't clap back.
Yeah.
Just keep it moving.
I wonder if he asks beforehand, like, would you care if I did a review of this? Because obviously he doesn't do it in the building.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he has to ask.
No, he
He doesn't have
but
to, 'cause he films on the
doesn't.
street.
And
Plus,
he
it would
owns.
make-
He buys the pizza, so it's his
it
now.
would make
Right.
no sense to ask because then they're gonna try extra hard for you
Yeah,
if they realize
yeah.
that you're a famous reviewer and that you're gonna get a bunch of views for it.
He
and
should
stuff
not
like
even
that.
order it himself. He should have someone go in for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gotten into a lot of trouble.
I think what this reminds me is that tonight I'm gonna go back and get based and Americana pilled and start watching Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives again.
That's a good
Where
one.
he just likes everything and it pisses me off.
Dude, you know what's a good one? Yeah, he does like everything, but he also does the worst cooks in America.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
No.
There's some locals that are on the first few episodes.
There was a
pretty
Harper's
cool.
Ferry restaurant in Kitchen Nightmares.
Really?
there?
Yeah, it was really bad too.
I
it
go-
was
Is
one of the worst
is
ones.
it still there?
I think they must have gotten replaced.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
love the old episodes of Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives because it's like watching a time capsule of a time before people had phones in their hands everywhere they went, and they go out of their
Not
way
a phone
to
in
not
sight,
a
just
phone in
people living in the moment.
and
Just
it's-
guys being dudes. What's better than this?
He's not super charismatic. I love it. Like that, he's very much like an everyman. He grows into the role as it goes on. But those first seasons are rough, and I actually like them even more.
People really don't like him, though.
I know he's very.
I just hate
disliked.
that the whole point is he likes everything and doesn't critique anyone on anything.
I had a friend who used to make a joke. He's like, I'm gonna make a. He's like, because he would go to movies. He just liked every movie he ever saw. And
It
he's
can't
just like-
all be good.
He's like, I'm just gonna make a movie review site called Awesome Movies, and just every.
This is
movie
literally how I perceive you. With the
it's not what it
exception of
is.
something like The Crow, that's literally how I perceive
Oh yeah,
your
how are you
movie
feeling
reviews.
with the absolute failure of that movie?
I mean,
Angry.
it was
just pure
it was awful.
rage.
I mean, I've liked less of the movies this year than like, but even then they were like saying, is it worse than Madam Web? I'm like, I had fun at Madam Web. Madam Web was so bad it was good, or at least so bad it was fun.
Yeah.
That's not the same as what the Crow, whatever the fuck the Crow was, which was nothing. That was, yeah, my blood pressure was like 3 times normal when we did the review for that.
You said you considered walking out early.
It was the only time since we reviewed a movie that I've considered just leaving early. When we got to when we got about halfway through and there were no crows on screen and he was no crow. The first animal you see is a freaking horse.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
You couldn't have a crow land on a horse? The fuck is this? I'm falling into it.
It's not the horse. It's the crow.
I'm not watching the horse.
Stop.
If you're gonna do that, make BoJack Horseman a serial killer. I don't care.
That show sucks too.
So
I hate BoJack Horseman.
all right. Well, don't tell Nina.
Oh man, she's obsessed with it.
All right, let's move on then, shall we? What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Kellen, it's up to you today.
Oh, I feel like let's do cute first because we just had a lot of cringe.
All right, let's look at the pets.
We will do cute of the day. Remember, guys, you can submit your pets. Hashtag PCC Pets. Tag me and the show in there
Has
over on
anyone
Twitter.
submitted a pet rock?
Yep. Nobody has submitted a pet rock. Technically, you could. I can't tell you you're
They're
wrong.
going to now that you mentioned it.
They have to be cute though.
All right, here we go. This one is from the Half-Baked Treehouse. He says, some people have a face that only a mother can love. Well, for some reason, the missus fell in love with Antonio. Look at this guy.
What? Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't find birds cute. I can't.
It's like a little dinosaur.
Other than ducklings, I can't find birds cute.
All right. Let's do one more.
Face only a mother could love.
Ophelia.
Oh, that looks like a
This
cavalier.
is from Sydney Vox on Twitter. It says, this is my dog, Ophelia, enjoying a day in the pool. She is the best little dog.
So cute. I love it.
That is pretty amazing.
I love that.
All right, let's go then. Let's do Cringe. This one is bad according to Mary. I have not seen it yet, but
I don't know if you've seen this yet, but it's JD Vance at a donut shop trying to be human. And
I've heard about it.
There's a great bit that a YouTuber used to make. You say SJWs don't human well. I think politicians don't human well either.
Remember
so.
DeSantis trying to smile when he was running?
Yeah.
It's literally that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where did it go? Did I lose it here? Where the hell? There it is. Cringe of the day. Here we go. This is going to be rough. The volume is really bad.
Darn.
There's like the volume's like impossible to hear. But the point. Do you want to give people the
Well,
point
there's
of
actually
it?
a parody of it that I sent
let's see,
you.
Let's see the parody of it here. 'Cause again, nobody can hear that. The point is, he's trying to seem like a human being at a. Which did you send it on Slack?
Well, I just sent you a different version of the original.
Okay, let's try this one here then.
And the parody is below it.
There we go. There we go.
I'm sorry, babe. Okay, yeah.
Wait, so he released this anyways?
After like blurring out their faces, yeah.
She doesn't want to be on film, guys, so just
he's a
cut her
good
out
guy.
with anything. Appreciate that, man. I'm JD Vance. I'm running for vice president. Good to see you.
Okay.
How are you working?
I've been here since the beginning of July
Okay.
of this year.
Okay, good. How about you, sir?
Almost 2 years.
Okay, good. Just everything, yeah, I mean, a lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff.
Some sprinkle stuff.
Always flip
Whatever
around.
makes sense.
Bro has never bought a donut in his
About
life.
4 years? Okay. How long have you been here?
A little over 6 months.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Dude, it's giving.
Okay.
It's giving undercover boss.
It's really
I didn't
funny.
even think of that. It
So-
literally seems like he's the CEO of the donut chain.
No wonder they're all like on edge. They're like, what, guys, is corporate here today?
Also, this guy who made the parody looks strikingly similar to him from the profile.
Is that this one here?
Yeah.
He does. That's funny.
Hold on, let me.
He even put on eyeliner. Very demure, very mindful.
Oh.
Hey, I'm JD Vance, and I'm running for vice president. With whom? I'd rather not say. I'll just get whatever a normal human person would get. You, and what do you do for work? Right, you work in a donut shop. What's that? It's a donut? Okay. What's that? It's also a donut? Okay.
Unironically, me.
How long you been here? How long have you been a black at a job?
Oh my god.
How long have you been black? I'm sorry. Hey, folks, she doesn't want to be on camera, so just blur her face out. And while you're at it, blur my face out too. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm so sad. I'm so tired. Hey, you don't have any like lean protein back there, right? Like some Soylent or tilapia or something? No? Oh, donut. It's like a beignet or a croquembouche. I would love to eat those again. Have you ever been to Paris? What if we tried this over again and I went somewhere else? How long have you been here?
This guy has more charisma than JD
Yeah, he
Vance.
does. Okay, so this...
It feels like 30 years. There's a fridge back there you can put me in and lock it.
This actually is like, so I actually have a story. We were at Olive Garden in West Virginia, like in Martinsburg.
Oh, I know the one.
And Patrick Morrissey, the Attorney General of West Virginia, came in and was like going table to table and talking to people about politics.
Oh, geez.
And I literally can't think of a worse campaign strategy than going and interrupting
Bothering
somebody's
me.
dinner and trying to talk to them about politics.
But he was literally doing this.
Yes.
That's why
He like comes up to you at Olive Garden. He's like, "How long have you worked here?"
dude,
And
Like,
when,
sir,
when
I'm
he,
just
he
buying
comes
a
up to us,
meal.
he goes, and we're just like, we don't live here.
when I
Like,
used to,
we're from Maryland.
As soon as you say you're from Maryland, he just walks
he goes,
away.
no, he goes, oh, well, thank you for visiting, and then left. I'm like, that was awesome. I would have said that even if we did live there.
dude, politicians are the worst about that because they try. It comes off so disingenuous. I used to coach volleyball, and we had Wes Moore when he was running for governor show up, and he's doing like a presser with the school that I coach at as a backdrop, and it was like we couldn't get into the gym. Like he made us late for practice and stuff, and it's just so annoying.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he looks all noble. It's just to push his agenda, but you're really bothering people. It's like,
They just can't be human. It's impossible for them.
Also, like when he was at the Olive Garden, the employees clearly were like not sure what to do because he's the attorney general of their state. And it's like, they're like, do we stop him? Do we tell him to stop freaking bothering the guests? Like, maybe he was there, with permission, but it just seemed like, why would you go and interrupt somebody's dinner?
he's doing.
It's
Someone
the
told
easiest
him.
way for people to
They're
dislike
like, you know how Trump goes into the pizza shops and he has those great videos.
Yeah,
He's
and
like,
the
you need to do
Chick-fil-A
that too.
one, and everyone just
yeah, but he's
loves
talking to the
him.
workers, not to the people eating there, right? Like,
Yes, yeah, but that's what
Trump talks
JD
to
Vance was
whoever.
trying to do, and he couldn't manage it.
Yeah.
If Trump were in there, they would all be like falling at his feet by the time he left.
What did he say to the ladies? He's like, everyone's looking very rich. Very rich.
Good. How long have you worked here? Oh, like 6 months. Good.
Like, what does that mean? How long has this place been here? Oh, okay. Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Like, there's endless follow-up questions.
If he had a little bit of inflection, like his word choice isn't even that bad. If he had a little bit of inflection in his voice, like you got to do that.
Just the thing about like
Your
he's
customer
not
service
even ordering
voice.
anything. He's just like, oh yeah, some glaze, sprinkle stuff.
Whatever makes sense.
Whatever makes sense. Like, bro, just order fucking donuts.
It's like, dude,
What
you
is wrong
asked
with
for
you?
donuts. What do you mean, whatever makes sense?
Like,
What do you want?
If he had like a campaign manager who's like, go and try to have one coherent conversation that sounds like it would actually happen at a donut shop, and just do that. Just focus on that. Be like, like asking them like, oh, how long have you worked here? Like, oh, what's the hardest part? Like, there's a million questions you could ask that will just never sound normal. Don't do that.
He should have leaned into this hillbilly elegy, Appalachia-born kind of like aesthetic he's doing, and just gone to like a farm stand.
Yeah.
And picked up some milk and some eggs, and some vegetables, right? Instead, you're going to this random donut shop. I mean, it's not even a police event.
Harassing people.
He should repost this though. If he wants to get out ahead of this, he should repost the satire version.
He should do
He
one.
would if he were social media literate.
He should like
but-
address the camera right before he does it again and be like, guys, I know round 1 didn't go so well.
Honestly, yes.
But this time I got it.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah.
painful.
All right, the suck zone, as Philip Seymour Hoffman would say. All right, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? Speaking of awful politics in pop culture.
Yeah, so recently we talked about Swifties for Trump, about all 12 of them.
Nice.
But on the other hand, they have launched a new movement, Swifties for Kamala. It's a coalition of diehard Taylor Swift fans who have mobilized into action to get Kamala Harris into office. They just launched their organization only over a month ago. merely hours after Biden dropped out of the race, by the way. And yesterday, they had their own virtual rally on Zoom that was even worse than White Women for Kamala. It was even more cringy than that, including appearances from Carole King, Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey, and more. They have raised over $100,000 for the Harris Walls campaign so far. And then Cosmo put out an article about them.
It's almost like it's all planned.
Yeah, they've gotten features in Vanity Fair, The Cut, now Cosmopolitan. Swifties for Kamala is mobilizing Taylor Swift fans, even if Taylor herself isn't. They made it very clear that Swifties for Kamala is totally indifferent to whether or not Taylor Swift endorses Kamala Harris for president. They're just there to mobilize the fandom and get them politically involved. And they interviewed the co-founders and team leads. The way that this has been put together with such high production value and graphic design and web design so quickly, it definitely seems like it was orchestrated and funded by the DNC, but we have no evidence for that.
So this is their website here.
Yeah, so they have an About Us section on their website, which is extremely professional. Our mission: we are a coalition of Taylor Swift fans committed to protecting the United States of America's historical democracy by working together to help progressive candidates in local and national elections, including VP Kamala Harris for our country's next president.
Personally, I find nothing more progressive than locking a bunch of people up and using them for prison labor. I find that to be hyper progressive.
And they also posted their own policy platform. Swifties for Harris is committed to protecting our democracy. As Swifties, many of us share core values and believe Kamala Harris will protect these values as president. We want a future where everyone is safe and respected. Don't say you're too tired to fight. It's just a matter of time. We believe Harris has the experience, integrity, wit, and stamina to beat Donald Trump and progress the United States into a more flourishing and inclusive future. A future where all people are treated with dignity and respect, reproductive freedom and choice are available in every state, the rights of LGBTQIA+ individuals are protected, immigrants are welcome, climate change is taken seriously, common sense gun laws are prioritized, a permanent ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is achieved, and bigotry is not tolerated. That's their official policy platform
It's a whole lot
for
of
Swifties
words.
for Kamala.
Literally just
nothing.
a bunch of Marxist communist bullshit.
It's all virtue said. There's so many things I want to say.
The voices behind the viral Swifties for Kamala social media accounts tell Cosmo about their dreams for a Swiftie blue wave.
Can I just ask a question? Like, one thing that's pretty consistent amongst hyper-progressive Marxist and communists is they despise private wealth and ownership. How do they reconcile that with their name being attached to one of the most successful corporate-backed celebrities of all time?
A literal billionaire with a private jet. Yeah, I don't think Taylor Swift takes climate change very seriously.
No, but they believe that. They believe that she does. Because these people they're just not smart. They do whatever they believe, whatever the last thing they heard is. They do no research. They don't dig into anything. They accept everything at face value. Like,
their votes are just as valuable as yours.
It's so dumb because it's like, okay, Kamala still doesn't have policies, so the Swifties made it up for her.
Yes.
There's so many parts of this.
They came up with their own.
They didn't even pretend like they didn't say no tax on tips. They just came up with platitudes, and that's really what you understand the most. Is like anytime you read something to me that we're covering, and they just say a bunch of bullshit without actually saying anything. That upsets me more than anything. I'm like, sending people to college has done irreparable damage to this country because you can articulate meaningless slop in a way that sounds like it actually says something when it doesn't at all. Everything they just listed there was a bunch of meaningless platitudes that have no actual policy
it's about friendship
attached to
and
it.
rainbows and cupcakes. And for context, guys, this was co-founded. Swifties for Kamala was co-founded by a 22-year-old Texan Swiftie who identifies as a trans man, meaning this is a biological female who identifies as male. as well as a 29-year-old who now is their communications director. And they interviewed both of them for this piece. Irene Kim, the 29-year-old, said, "I would love to see our first woman president, you know? And not only that, a woman of color. It's crazy to think that we haven't done that yet. As an Asian American woman with immigrant parents, that's something that's really exciting for me to see. During the Trump administration, there was so much racism and hatred. I want a president who actively fights against that. Kamala makes me really excited because I feel like she stands for a lot of the same things I do and will actually protect the rights and freedoms of not only someone like me, but the people I care about and a lot of marginalized communities that have been under attack."
That whole sentence that she just spewed is just identity politics.
It's identity politics. It has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do with actual change in the country.
We love the 19th Amendment here, don't we, folks?
If you went through each of those points, that not that there, but their initial,
they're not qualifying.
Their initial points, right? And you just asked, what does that mean legislatively? What does that mean in policy?
They don't know what legislate means.
What does that mean? How will you enact that? Executive orders? Does that mean that you're going to have the House and the Senate? What does that mean?
They don't have answers. They just have feelings.
This is neo-Maoism. That's what this is. Because they do, just like Mao used the college students for the Red Guard. Yeah. This is what they're doing. She knows there's like the actual rational voter, right? The person that actually thinks critically. Kamala doesn't stand a chance with that person. So they have to go and find the young people that are dumb and that they can just, they don't have to brainwash them because their thinking skills have not developed yet. Yeah. They don't teach how to critically think in school, and it's something that a lot of people don't develop.
Yeah.
So this was all started by 22-year-old Emerald Medrano, a Latinx trans man who says that he started Swifties for Kamala only like an hour after Biden dropped out of the race. Emerald said, "Harris is very intelligent and a powerful woman, a trailblazer.
None of that
The way
says
she has opened doors and also takes care of people who come after her through that door reminds me in a lot of ways how Taylor cares about people in the music industry. I really love that connection between them."
Okay, first of all, I'm going to press X to doubt and ask you for an example of anything you just said in relation to...
She actually sabotages other artists.
No, I was saying... I was going to get to that. First, I want you to tell me what that door shit even means in relation to Kamala. Like, what does that mean? And then secondly, how does that compare to Taylor, who's knowingly disliked by many people for keeping them out of top 10s and reaching #1 on Billboard by re-releasing albums so that she can dominate the top spot? She's as capitalist as anyone in any industry, and all it is a bunch of weird mentally ill fan fiction that's been built up in their brains that they just then superimpose on other people.
The rise of social media, and the Democrats specifically have learned this a few elections ago, that they used to say, don't listen to what someone says, watch what he does. It's completely inverted now. They don't care about what you do and how much you've donated and this. They just care about the last thing that came out of your mouth. That's honestly
really true. Like, one of the things that annoys me is, like, whenever something comes up, I'm like, everyone's going to forget this in like 10 minutes anyways. It won't matter. Mm-hmm. It will not matter. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to look at their record. They're just going to insert the new chip into their brain and say, this is what they said. That makes me feel good. I think I'll vote for them. She's talking about building the wall.
The 22-year-old co-founder said, "I feel like I've always been politically involved. As a Latinx person and a trans person and a queer person, I've always had to care. And living in Texas, the stakes are a lot higher for me because if things go wrong in this election, I might have to move."
Jesus.
Because Texans are all bigots. Everyone in Texas is a hateful bigot who's going to hate crime you if Trump wins.
It proves that you have no understanding of what's actually going on politically, because your local politics will play a far greater role in your day-to-day life than anything that's pushed through federally.
They won't be able to name their mayor. They won't be able to name their congressman.
Regarding the connection between the Swiftie fandom and the Kamala campaign, Emerald said, We have our own little culture. One of our goals is that we really want to make this a Swiftie safe space where people feel comfortable to be active in politics. We combine voter registration information with like friendship bracelets. We're bringing things from our fandom culture into the political space, which is a really cool way to help people open up and participate. Another team lead said, I was telling my husband this morning that being involved in Swifties for Kamala has been so good for my mental health.
That poor guy.
Your marriage is cooked.
Dude.
If you're listening, guy who is married to one of the team leads on Swifties for Kamala, your marriage is over.
I would be very interested in, I can't remember the name of their podcast, but Natasha Biazzi, she's Canadian, but she's a huge Swiftie, but she does like a more conservative leaning podcast. I'd love to hear her thoughts about this.
I haven't heard of her. Maybe I'll look into it.
Yeah, she was on the Culture War a couple months ago. She's cool. She'd probably be good for this show, but I digress. These are very selfish voters, right? Like they're not. It's not about voting.
That's
for
why
Kamala.
they say our democracy.
It's not.
They literally don't mean yours.
They don't think that Kamala's the best person for this job. They're all talking about how does voting for this candidate reflect upon me. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's like, listen, that's why it's all like the first things out of their mouth is all like identifiers. I'm trans.
They understand
I'm queer,
identity politics, and they
I'm person of
understand how to
color.
use identity politics as a cudgel, as a weapon.
And they're like, because I stand for all these great causes, right? Kamala Harris is just another little badge on my like Boy Scouts.
And
it's
now,
the latest badge that you get.
Right now, women are significantly more involved in the political process than men at a young age. Like men are checked out of politics. Women are they're building coalitions, they're forming groups, and they're building their own political safe spaces that are going to send, all of the men in their lives to war someday, so that, because they don't like the guy who runs Russia, and because they think there should be a ceasefire in Gaza.
So I'm about to show you guys a snippet from the Swifties for Kamala virtual rally that was exponentially more cringy than White Women for Kamala.
Are we still doing the cringe?
Yeah, this is it. Carole King performs a surprise song for Swifties for Kamala's kickoff call.
Okay, here we go.
Taylor inducted me into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she sang my song, Will You Love Me Tomorrow? So I have to go. Players gonna play, 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 play. Haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it off, I shake it off.
End my suffering.
That doesn't even bother me that much. It's the responses. That's what I knew that.
Thank you for that.
So, okay. See, because if Trump got on a call and did this, it would be hilarious. It would be so funny. But instead of like laughing at the ridiculous nature of this, they're like, oh, yes, queen. Like, thank you.
Shiver me timbers. Shiver me timbers. That was absolutely spine-chillingly cringe.
Have you guys followed the Brittany Mahomes stuff that's been going on?
Yeah, we talked about it on Monday.
So don't forget who.
I'm okay.
You
don't
good?
forget
You good?
what did the NFL do all last season, right? For the Chiefs games, they had a camera on Taylor Swift. Whose box was she in?
Yep.
Who's
She's
VIP
friends
box?
with Brittany Mahomes.
It was Brittany
theoretically.
Mahomes' box. So like and this is why I don't think Taylor Swift is going to actually come out and endorse any candidate. I think she's just going to avoid it completely, because all of her professional friends are supporting Trump, but her fan base that's making all her money are, going Kamala.
Well, they say they don't care whether
never go
Taylor.
full Kamala.
Yeah, the Swifties for Kamala claim that they don't care whether Taylor Swift endorses Kamala.
Exactly.
They just want to mobilize the fandom in Kamala's favor. But this one person in the interview said, I'd like to think that we're not doing this for Taylor. We're doing this for our country. Very noble.
What does that mean? Well,
There's no use in asking what does any of it mean.
Like
it doesn't mean anything.
When
they know it, we know it, we all know it.
They're NPCs.
Oh, of course.
So what's going on is there's two roads that you go here. One is that they hear somebody say, Kamala go, no tax on tips. And they go, oh, that's a great idea, right? And they're like, oh, well, that somebody else thought of that first. They don't care, right? All they know is that the last person who said it was her, right? Now they're saying, build the wall. Now she's talking about the frickin' about border security and stuff like that, as everybody's shifting slightly more towards the center for election season.
That was the first thing I said, though. The Swifties are inventing policy for Kamala because, like, she technically has, that I can count, 2 policies right now, both that she stole from Trump. No tax on tips and reinforcing the border wall. Right? But they conveniently, like, the tax on tips thing, they should brag about that.
This is why people talk about the Longhouse.
They're not even talking about her actual policies. They're inventing them for her.
This is why the term Longhouse exists, because it is governance by female feelings and the female orientation towards security and safety and obtaining resources.
That's the first thing they mentioned.
That is about, this is their policy platform.
I said
safety and dignity and respect for all. Friendship bracelets.
Last week,
that's their policy.
Last week I said I'm coining the term Longhouse communism, which will just be the communist state through female platitudes.
Yeah.
Well, that video of the Australian Swiftie fan that like just broke down and started screaming outside the concert. You remember that video?
Oh,
it's making the rounds again.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's like over a year old.
These people are unhinged.
Yeah, you have to consider who you're talking to. After the DNC and Kamala's like just like this complete like fraudulent display of support and unity that they put on TV. It was a good movie. It was a good movie, right?
Well,
but like after that, you have to realize the people that are supporting this are either do not understand politics at all, so you shouldn't be having a conversation anyway. You're just going to upset yourself. Or they're evil, and they know what they're doing. There is no in between. There's no naivete
they're the useful
anymore.
idiots, and the people who mobilize them are evil.
Both. What I'm saying is
I think that this shows the left understands the social media game. They were late, but they finally understand it, and they're doing it a lot better than Trump right now.
They're doing it in a different way.
Because
I think
back in 2016,
they were there first.
Back in 2016, the left totally didn't understand or resonate with internet culture and 4chan memes and meme magic. All of these things, like, that is something that really helped Trump appeal to young people.
I disagree.
Now they're late to the party, but they finally understand how to use social media, and the way they're doing it is incredibly polished and professional, incredibly methodical, and you have to hand it to him. This is impressive.
I just said 2016, that just to kind of retort a little bit, in 2016 they underestimated the power of meme magic, but they had the controls. They were in the cockpit flying the plane the whole time. They just didn't think they had to do any crazy maneuvers.
They got too cocky.
Right. And then, but now, like you saw with the Twitter files that came out from Elon Musk and now Mark Zuckerberg, right? They've been manipulating social media this whole time. They knew the power they had.
Imagine, like, being Taylor Swift and actively voting for somebody who's going to do a 40% unrealized gain tax on you. And,
you know what? I don't even think Taylor Swift is going to vote.
Yeah.
No, she's not going to address it at all. She might say, make sure you're registered to vote. Democracy is important. I am willing to bet.
Well, she moves all her money further offshore.
She got more than 160,000 people in the U.S. to register to vote in 2018. Like, the power of Swifties should not be underestimated.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, I don't think Taylor Swift is going to be this general leading the people to the polls.
This time around, maybe not.
And here's the thing, even if like Pat the Plumber in the chat says Kamala's already falling apart, it doesn't matter. They can limp that person along until the very end. They did it with Biden until there was literally gaffes that could not be stopped on national television. Everything that they said in here was just platitudes. They described her in a way that has no basis in reality. It doesn't matter. These people aren't paying attention. They're not actively searching to critique their own worldview. They're just going to take whatever they say because they believe in the authoritative nature of media, and they're going to go with it. It won't matter. And that is politics going
before
forward.
you spontaneously combust, we need to put an end to this segment. We need to read some super chats because I'm worried about you, honestly.
Aww.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Wednesday."
This is why, like, if I go to IRL, I can't. I
get into it. You just need this 3 p.m. energy then.
Well, no, like you go on IRL, I'm like, politicians are evil and the media is corrupt. Here, I just get angry because at least when you're talking politics on IRL, you're theoretically talking about people that are talking about other politicians or people in the space where at least they're evil and just not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I can at least have a mild amount of respect for talented but evil and stupid. No.
No excuses. All right, Shane H. Wilder said, happy Wednesday, Brat, Mary, and Kellen. We asked you to put a girl on in addition to Mary, and instead you give us Kellen. So much for Women Wednesday.
Hey, man.
Put a girl on.
Put a girl on.
Yeah, dude, someone keeps chatting that. God.
Put a girl on.
They're obsessed now. Josh Fields says, put a girl on.
Take a walk.
Shane H. Wilder, bless you, Mary. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nebek27 said, is he considered an Uber Eats driver when driving people around?
That's funny. Armie Hammer.
Oh.
But
Shane H. Wilder said Armie Hammer just needs to open a barbecue joint specializing in spare ribs. It unironically would do well.
Where's the line though? Like if when it comes to like doing weird, creepy stuff, you've got Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly doing their blood ritual to Armie Hammer, having
hold up,
having a consensual snack, like
consensual snack.
Where's the line?
I hate everything.
Let's do one more.
Okay,
guys, we're like halfway to a crisis party. Let's get there, huh?
Brian Bledsoe said in Twisters, he said they recognized her from the news of the storm years ago. In a small town, finding somebody who was in the news wouldn't be difficult.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I don't remember
again,
that line.
that amount of logic is just not necessarily even applicable in all movies. It was a disaster film. Like a few plot holes here and there won't ruin the movie. And that's nowhere near like The Shit in the Crow. Let's move on then, shall we? Time to talk about why Brat Summer is canceled.
Yeah, it's time to retire Brat Summer. Honestly, the Brat Summer meme was dead on arrival, or at least as soon as the Kamala campaign commandeered it for their own agenda. But by now, summer is coming to a close, and the Brat meme, it's just become turbo cringe. It's so bad. Someone needs to put a stop to this, and there's no death knell for a meme being relevant to young people than Lena Dunham writing spoken word poetry about it.
At least it's not slam poetry.
Lena Dunham published a piece in The New Yorker called A Guide to Brat Summer, and I'm just gonna read you some lines from it to communicate the definition of a brat from Lena Dunham. Brat is walking down the street with headphones on and eyes closed, knocking over passersby and refusing to say you're sorry. So being a brat is just being a bitch.
Jerk.
Being an inconsiderate bitch.
One thing you're going to notice here, guys, is that if men were to do any of the things listed here, it wouldn't be LOL so random. It would be considered awful.
It's modeling your sex face after Kramer from Seinfeld.
What?
Brat is not going to work for a month and a half, then asking your boss why they seem kind of mad.
Okay,
so being a brat is just being a loser. Being a brat is just being a female loser.
Being angry, trolling everyone, being selfish.
It's sitting in traffic court for an unpaid speeding ticket, and when told to state your full name, asking the judge whether he's ever been in a situationship.
It's so random.
It's starting a rivalry with Angela Merkel, who has no idea who you are and never will. And every time you see a photo of her, hissing, bitch just wants to be me.
Mary, you take like 5 years off my life and you pick the topics.
No, this is just what
it's not
brain
a good
rot
day
people
for
do.
you.
Brat is just brain rot, basically.
No, it's not.
That's just brain rot behavior.
It's just resurrected LOL so random humor that should have died a decade ago.
And that's what brain rot is, honestly.
Instead of LOL so random, it's LOL so degenerate, and it's lame.
Here's another one. It's calling your brother to tell him about a family tragedy and starting the conversation with, look, I'm about to run out of battery, so don't be freaked out if my phone dies. Okay, so being a brat is just being a sociopath.
What was the one I said earlier? I said Brat is treating yourself to Chick-fil-A after getting an abortion.
We were workshopping some Brat memes earlier. You had a lot of bangers. It can basically be applied to any situation. But yeah, no, thanks. I hate it. Officially, just kill off the Brat Summer meme. It's been dead since the Kamala HQ made it their Twitter header. Just end it already. It's painful.
What it is like, again, women will write 8,000 word think pieces about men's privileged behavior that they don't realize is privileged, which is why it's bad, and then promote this type of behavior, not realizing that you're just as bad as
honestly, this is just an excuse to give like bimbos.
We got a 50 super chat from Mr. Playlist Man. Brat, you have a saying, ladies are always willing to forgive themselves or something like that. Well, I can't remember.
There's nothing a toxic, awful behaving woman is more ready to do in life than forgive herself for her own mistakes.
No, I think this is just an excuse to give bimbos, it's just an excuse for their behavior. So rather than someone kind of acting dumb or out of place, they do something so random to get through the day. That's what it is.
I don't think it's a bimbo trait. I think it's like at least some bimbos are wholesome. Dolly Parton, great lady, always nice to everyone, totally wholesome, lovely person, just sunshine.
Bimbo.
I wouldn't say.
I mean, she's been called that before. Definitely.
I mean, you don't make that much money by being like, and if it is, then it's like
she's 100% been called it.
Then it's the same thing as what's her name, Paris Hilton, putting on a character for the sake of making money. Okay.
You said hooking up with JD Vance on a one-night stand is so Brat.
Dude, this just reminds me of that soccer movie with Amanda Bynes, her character.
She's the man?
Yeah, she's the man. This basically just, they're describing how like early 2000s, like that type of character acted. Like, I'm the shit, you know, like I'm going to do whatever I want. Get away with it. Give you silly, innocent answers. Because look at me.
Yeah. I think shit like this is exactly the reason why we need to invent the term man-child for women. Why don't we have that yet? Because that's literally what being a brat has become, is just being a woman child and being entitled and a loser with no life.
Again, it won't matter, because then after they do that, they will write a really, really word salad filled piece of garbage about feminism, right? There was this article that's Nerdrotic posted the cover of yesterday, and it was for like the new Lord of the Rings, and it was like, she takes up space unapologetically, and I almost threw my phone out a fucking window.
I hate that.
It was like something like that. It's like, I take up space too. Shall I apologize? Fuck you.
It's like women doing social experiments where they're walking down the street and intentionally don't move out of the way when someone is coming the opposite direction.
Like, the problem with social media is it's desegregated the genders in every aspect of society, where before, like, men, they have their talk at the bar, it's pretty masculine. Women, like, book clubs, like you
can tell when you're supposed to be privy to a certain conversation.
Right. Everything I say that to you all the time. Like, everything that you see on the internet is the result of you being part of a discussion you were never meant to hear. Like, when men bitch about women, it's supposed to be done amongst the bros, and you understand that it's 60% maybe just letting off steam and maybe 40% anger or
no, everyone's privy to everything all the time.
They asked a couple of celebrities gave their own interpretation of Brat Summer. Kim Kardashian says Brat Summer is all about embracing your bold, unapologetic self, and Charlie perfectly captures that spirit.
She seems insufferable.
Kim Kardashian?
No, Charlie XCX.
Yeah.
You know how you were describing Zendaya's character from Dude? That's Charlie XCX.
Emily Ratajkowski also offered her own interpretation, saying Charlie XCX is a pop star who's larger than life, but also vulnerable and kind of sad and feels bad about herself.
Look at this is what I mean. All I had to do was just search the words. I don't know what this article's about. I know that it's bullshit. No matter what the inner critic may say, you are allowed to take up space. What the fuck does that mean?
What happened to social distancing?
It's like when they say use the term bodies.
Oh yeah. Well, Charlie actually, guys, if you were unaware of the context this entire time, I apologize. Charlie XCX put out what is being called the album of the summer. The title is Brat. And the entire brand of Brat has gone far beyond the scope of her music, and it's turning into an aesthetic or a vibe that women are trying to embody in order to be as selfish and ignorant as possible. So at the same time that the New Yorker put out their Lena Dunham essay about Brat Summer, they also released an interview with Charlie XCX where she said, "Lying is so fun, so Brat. Who made this rule that you have to be truthful and honest in the press as an artist? The press is just a tool." stares at the journalist.
Yeah.
I'm really quirky.
I can't help but point out that's exactly what some of the media reporting from Gaza does. They just lie. And
Well,
why
I guess
not?
if the journalists
Why
lie,
not?
you can lie to them. Charlie seems anxious about how to keep the momentum going and stop it from crossing over into cringe in the process. It is far too late for that.
Here's that meme, by the way, or that thing from the Hollywood Reporter. She takes up space. She's unapologetic. What the hell does that have to do with Sauron?
Okay, but now, because you got to realize their like rhetoric has been so successful that they don't need to say this woman is being oppressed. It's now just assumed.
Yeah,
that's what this is. This is the next step in it. It's she's oppressed. She's against all the odds are stacked against her, right? But she can take up space and she's not going to say sorry, right? Because you have to make those assumptions they've already established.
This has evolved from all of the annoying, flowery quotes that millennial women would post on Facebook
Live, laugh, love.
in MySpace back in the day about female empowerment.
Live, laugh, love is Brat.
Dude, no, you know what it was? The very first one, Live, Laugh, Love was like the corporate thing, but the first like social media thing was the keep calm memes. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
And every woman changed it. It's like keep calm and drink wine.
Keep calm and don't let your emotions make you their bitch.
Yeah. That was like the very first viral meme where everybody, not just women, men too, would like put their own little spin on it.
You're right. That should make a comeback, actually.
Yeah.
Bring back that
but
meme
I
format.
guarantee you, all those people memeing it couldn't tell you where it came from. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't.
Really?
No.
It was a British slogan. I think World War II.
Yeah.
She overcame everything that was meant to destroy her. If you live in 21st if you live in the West in the 21st century, that doesn't mean anything. It's like that video where the girls
well-behaved women rarely make history.
It's the really funny video where it's the girl and she's like crying and says if she takes care of herself and she goes to work and she does, and the guy just cuts and goes, then she's an adult.
Poking a hole in the condom is so Brat.
Keep calm and be Brat. Yes.
Poking a hole in the condom and getting pregnant and then getting an abortion is so Brat. Drinking and smoking while pregnant is Brat.
Oh God.
Honestly, I'm surprised.
Being an ignorant piece of shit is so Brat.
Well, that reminds me of what I wanted to say in the last segment is you said something about how the Swifties for Kamala, they don't want to make people feel like they can't be political, or they want to be comfortable in politics. Like, no, you should be uncomfortable when it comes to politics because it's a whole lot of boring history you need to know. It's a bunch of boring civic stuff that you need to know. There's so much that goes into it just so you can have the slightest little understanding of what's going on in the world. You're not supposed to be comfortable. Like, this idea that any random Joe off the street, we should value that opinion as much as everyone else is
you're valid.
Silly.
You're valid.
If this is the democracy they're protecting.
It's like when Roman Reigns.
I don't want democracy.
When Roman Reigns became a solo wrestler and they were trying to push him as a good guy, his slogan was like, "I can and I will." I'm like, that's the most feminist bullshit I've ever heard. Like, go drink boxed wine, loser.
Here, I've got a white pill though. I was watching Trump's speech and he was meeting with Hispanic Americans in Arizona, and they started chanting "Si se puede" during his event, like a small little event, which is something that Obama started with these.
I didn't know that.
Yes, we can.
Idea.
Yeah, and that's what I think it means. Yes, we can. And so now they took it and now they're using it for Trump. So like these slogans can go either way, you know. I don't know why that thought popped in my
Brat is
head,
a toddler being served her dinner and responding, "I didn't ask to be born." So it's nihilist. It's nihilistic too.
Another one of them was Brat is dying and going to the gates of heaven and seeing cherubs lounging on clouds and saying, "It's giving Hilton Garden Inn, babes." So it's just being a self-entitled adult toddler.
And this is what I say is like, this could be funny if I was not to also believe that anybody pushing back on you and any of this behavior wouldn't upset you.
It might be funny if you saw, women not acting like this in their daily lives and it were actually a joke.
No, what I'm saying is like, the problem is, by their logic, if they were to do any of this and somebody was mad at them for it, they're supposed to be like, they're not allowed. right? Like showing up to Brat is showing up to work after missing for a month and a half and asking your boss why they're mad. If the boss was mad, they would write a piece about how the boss was the one who didn't have a right
it's
to
just like a masterclass on passive aggressive behavior. Like that's what being Brat is.
It honestly
like,
just seems aggressive.
How can we push the envelope to where like we almost instigate crazy violence, but we don't? You know, it's like that's what it is.
Starting a nuclear war is so Brat. Starting World War III is Brat.
I mean, that's what's going to happen, right? Like, our future children will be sent to war because women in America don't like the president of Russia or a random Middle East conflict that we have nothing to do with.
Why didn't they say misgendering is Brat?
We're going to launch into World War III because Putin reminds women of their ex-boyfriends.
Yeah. I again, if we're talking Taylor Swift or Charlie XCX, at least be what's Macklemore, who's the hipster of progressivism, who's now focusing on conflicts that are not in the mainstream for them. What's he focusing on? Sudan and the UAE. He's like my oppression's not like other oppressions.
No, but dude, if you are gonna be, because like it's not inherently bad to fight for like good causes and social and being a social justice warrior, it's just become such an insufferable thing. But like Macklemore, if he's truly doing that and he's going around and talking about these atrocities that aren't just like
he canceled
sexy for mainstream media.
He canceled a concert in Dubai over the war in Sudan, which has to do with like a proxy war with the UAE.
That doesn't even bother me. Like it's this obsession with like whatever the current thing is. So if
I'm
he
not
wants
like
to,
most wokes.
Fine, good, whatever.
No, like his is mildly less insulting.
But like like
but again, we always going to a Macklemore concert.
We always present the situation in China with the Uyghur Muslims as like a counter to everyone's obsession with Israel Palestine, and so it's like it's good to shed light on the atrocities in the world, right? But like the ones that get the main, it's just so not calculated. It's not the right word. Just. It's not organic.
Yeah.
These things that become the mainstream talking points.
Yep.
All right, let's read some more super chats. Shane H. Wilder said, Mary over here stealing my barbecue joke. It was too good. I couldn't resist. Sorry. Dog, that's like going to Jack in the Box for their teriyaki bowl and egg rolls. This is a real thing. Oh, and steak fries for the win. Agree on that. I didn't know Jack in the Box sold egg rolls. So they have tacos and some weird amalgamation of Chinese food. Why?
Because it's a surprise. It's a Jack in the Box.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I mean,
a Magic Monkey said, whoa, Brett, I want you to review more movies that you hate as much as The Crow because you are on fire.
I don't want to do that. Like, I don't go
But
to
everyone else wants you to be miserable.
I don't go to movies wanting to hate them. I go to movies wanting to like them. Like I said, when we went to Madam Web, it was awful, but it was fun because it was bad in a fun way. I don't want to go to a movie and just be miserable. Like, it's not worth whatever piddly amount of views come from it to just be miserable all the time.
I feel gross after being in a movie theater too. I feel like I need to take a shower after sitting in like a
they don't clean
crummy.
it well.
No, dude. I mean, they're paying a high schooler minimum wage to go in there and clean it. It's not getting done.
That's not true. Mary once had a super employee try to tell her she couldn't bring food in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Those are the bouncers. That's
bringing
you gotta
food into the
to
movie
that.
theater is so Brat.
Dude, have you seen the guy that brings a microwave into the movie theater so he can make his own popcorn?
Yeah, there's a woman baking sourdough bread on the airplane.
Oh, do you know who just did?
Morgan
McMichael just brought sourdough onto the plane. Like she posted about it today or yesterday, and I think she wasn't.
What would possess you?
It wasn't a joke.
It's like the guy who made sushi in the plane bathroom.
At least that doesn't require
straight
cooking
to jail.
anything.
You should have seen. I think that guy was on Alex Stein, and they made the worst hot dogs I've ever seen. Worst. Oh.
They did the honest trailer for The Crow, and it's really funny because they described Sarah, the original Crow. There's this scene in the movie where they say Ernie Hudson is playing Ernie Hudson because he kind of does play Ernie Hudson in everything, and they call Sarah a glizzy enthusiast.
Ew.
Yeah.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah.
Brian Bledsoe said that's what he gets for a horrible Lone Ranger movie. Armie Hammer?
No, yeah, and him and I never saw that one.
I don't know. Sorenko Productions said, don't the Swifties know that communism is going to make
That's
it
good.
so that it's not good, so that most people won't be able to afford $600 Taylor Swift tickets?
Well, her name's,
not to mention food.
Her name's Kamala, not Kamala, so it would be communism, just spelled that way.
It's
I think that's
really
creative.
bad.
There's something there, though.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Let's do 2 more.
Pat the Plumber said, Brett, do you remember the wrestler Kamala?
Yes, I think it was spelled differently, though.
Okay. Corey Anderson said Swifties for Mary's dictatorship. You're the only member of that organization.
Trump says Comrade Kamala.
That makes sense. Yeah. That works. All right, time to talk. Speaking of all of that, what we've discussed before, let's talk about how social media is actively destroying the lives of Gen Z.
Yeah, according to a new survey, it turns out the majority of Gen Z know why they are crazy. They blame social media for the current mental health crisis that is plaguing their generation. But ironically, they refuse to stop doom scrolling. They know what's good for them. They just don't care enough to stop.
That's the worst place to be.
Is the perfect encapsulation of their nihilism.
Yeah. I love the TikToks that promote like this wellness and stepping away from the phone. But all the people watching those TikToks are on their phone. The person that made the TikTok is on their phone. It's just like this hilarious irony to me.
Look, I fight with that one a lot because I'm pretty consistent in saying, like, take time away from your phone. But I'll usually say it on here. I usually don't tweet that, right? Because the whole point is, like, are you actively helping by tweeting about it? But the point would be, like, if you tweeted on a Friday and then you get off the phone for the weekend and somebody takes your advice, I guess that's good. But it just ends up being a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You just need to post the most disturbing content possible so that people are so disgusted and horrified that they put their phone down.
Yeah, like Brat Summer.
That's the secret.
And Swifties for Kamala.
Did you see the John Cena article?
Yeah, we talked about that as well.
He's got like 1 million people he follows.
See, I like the idea.
That looks like hell.
I like the idea that he does look at my stuff every day, and he's like, that's an interesting person.
Yeah.
Do you think you get through the weeds?
No.
Of those 800, I think it's like 850,000.
Like, I wonder who shows up. Like, if you follow 850,000 people, is it just the people who tweet the most?
Well, okay, here's a controversial question. Are you guys, when you're on Twitter, do you do the following or the For You tab? Which one do you do?
I use both.
I do the For You as well.
I don't look at following, actually.
Apparently that's the controversial stance.
I use both. Usually because my For You, my following tab tells me something that I might already know or believe in. And then the For You will give me ideas that I don't necessarily agree with. And it's a good balance.
Or the algorithm just commandeers you and forces you to look at disturbing fight videos.
Well, the problem, that's why rage bait sucks, because you get angry, so you're staring at a post for 5 seconds longer than you normally stare at posts. So then you get fed more of that garbage.
Yeah.
My point whenever I talk about this is like, anything that makes you mad on Twitter, I want you to ask yourself how often that thing sticks with you. That's even worse somehow. It's like, it makes you really angry, and then 3 minutes later you freaking forgot it ever happened.
That's not good for the psyche.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Like, at least when something makes you really mad and you're passionate about it, you have the luxury of caring enough to remember about it later and dissecting it. What's worse than just incrementally being fed a bunch of stuff that makes you angry and then not remembering what it was?
They're going to say Zins have all these health effects and like caffeine, but really it's going to be social media that starts just messing us all up as we get older.
You know why I think Gen Z
spike.
has kind of turned away from downers and is all about the stimulants like nicotine, caffeine, Adderall? It's because social media and doom scrolling can be so disorienting and fatiguing that they need to zero in.
They need to muscle up so that they
need
can
to like be able to focus on one thing at a time. And those ideas that you come across, or those images and videos, linger with you for longer than you think. But this says 3 in 4 Gen Z Americans are putting the blame on social media for having a negative impact on their mental health. 20% of Gen Zers cite Instagram and TikTok as detrimental to their well-being, followed by Facebook at 13%. I'm honestly kind of surprised by that. I didn't think that many Gen Zers even used it.
It's the marketplace experience.
Social media remains an integral part of their life. The average user spends a whopping 5.5 hours per day on social media apps, with 45% believing they outpace their own friends' usage time. Boredom, seeking laughter, staying informed, and keeping tabs on friends are the primary motivators for their online engagement.
First of all, the keeping tabs on friends thing sounds unnecessarily Stasi-esque in a weird way, but it's obviously I know what they mean. But look, it really is the product of just getting angry at something and then forgetting it ever happened. I just now remembered I was reading this infuriating thread last Friday about how they should race swap Magneto, but not Charles Xavier, but not Professor X, because of the fact that Professor X was privileged and didn't face racism, you know, and even because he was a mutant, but could pass as a normal person, they should keep him white because he's privileged, so he would need to look white that way. But you can race swap the guy who's been oppressed, because everyone else who's been oppressed has been oppressed in their own way, but they're interchangeable, right? So they're like, they only want to keep the race of the guy when it's somebody they want to critique. Okay. Right? And I'm reading it and I'm just annoyed, and I forgot it happened until just now.
It's also not important. Like, even if you weren't annoyed, like, all that information is just not important. That's the type of conversation matter, right? Well, you have at a bar with your friends. Like, oh, did you guys see, you know, what Marvel's doing now? And that stuff comes up.
Yes. Well, no, I mean, it is important though for my job. So
I get frustrated because I don't like it for me, like, having a keyboard and just the nature of social media. I don't feel like I can actually express myself on there. So I feel like that gets bottled up, where if we're in person and we're having a debate about something, like, Mary, you and I have debated like random things before, but like, we can get our point out. We can express ourselves to the extent that we need to. On social media, it's a lot harder.
Well, you know? In order to excel at social media, in order to be successful at influencing people online, you either need to be born with sociopathic traits or you need to adopt them over time, because
you have to not care.
The fear,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the fear of being misinterpreted or reaching the wrong audience is something that you have to kill inside you.
I tell you that all
so
the
that
time.
You can click post.
I tell you
it's something you need to do in order to publish your thoughts, because you know for a fact that you will be misinterpreted. It's inevitable.
I tell you that all the time, that one of the reasons I will never be successful in this space is I kill tons of things that I write, tons of things that I want to talk about, because I can already see how it's going to be interpreted the wrong way, and I don't want to engage with it, because usually when I want to post about something, it's literally just trying to pull something and get it off your chest, just get it away from you. And I don't want to have to deal with the misinterpretation. And there is an infinite amount of people, even people who make like satire content, have to do so knowing that it's going to be dissected into think pieces.
Well, that some people are going to see it and think that it's genuine and not satire, which would, you know, kill a lot of people. But you kind of have to just kill your ego in order to be successful.
I couldn't do it. I have too much pride.
Well, I was just gonna say, maybe we need to bring like blogs back, because like I guarantee.
I mean, that's what Substack is for.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But then you have to be good at writing, and
I feel the same way about Substack that I feel about LinkedIn. It's just like this thing everyone's trying to get me to use, and I just I don't want to.
Yeah.
But like having a blog, like let's say the show had a website, right, with a homepage and a landing page, and you could just be your thoughts on whatever, and then it's like, yeah, there's a comment section. But it's not like your phone's ringing and going off.
Go to popculturecrisis.com. You'll be shocked at what you see.
Oh.
It's funny that they also cited boredom as the top reason for their social media usage.
Nobody could get ahead.
You're only bored because you don't engage with your life. You would have more to do with your time if you weren't spending time online.
It's a bad cycle, though.
And
you're trained to like. This instant gratification makes you bored, and that's why you're on social media.
I'm online because I'm bored. I'm bored because I'm online.
Yep.
It's a never-ending cycle. They would be seeing their friends more if this wasn't a component of all of their lives.
It's funny too, because it affects your attention span in the real world. Not even doing something super important, right? So if I'm watching a TV show and doom scrolling, I consistently change the show. But if I just set my phone down for 20 to 30 minutes and then try to engage with something, I usually can stick with that show for longer.
You have to like kind of like get out of that zone. Yeah.
Yep.
Nearly half of Gen Z respondents say they experience negative emotions from social media use, with stress and anxiety affecting 30% of respondents. Those who experience those negative feelings report that it takes only 38 minutes of scrolling before their mood begins to sour.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell you all the time, go watch any video on YouTube of somebody who's made the thing. It's like, I took a year off social media. Never once will you see one where they're like, I regret it.
Yeah.
Like, they love it. It's the best thing for them.
Or there's no follow-ups. Their channel went dark after that.
Or doing that can be seen as a luxury for some people, because a lot of people say, you know, I need this for my job.
To play.
Well, we do.
And we definitely need it for our job.
For a long time, I resisted Twitter in this job, and it made my job infinitely more annoying, but infinitely easier to use it as a resource.
To play devil's advocate, though, like, the economy does play. I was thinking about this the other night, just on the drive home, and like, the economy plays into so many of these social issues way more than anyone really gives us credit for, right? Like, if like going out with your friends was cheap, I truly think more people would be doing it. But right now, like, everyone needs a cell phone, so then you need a cell phone plan, right? That's eating up some of your income. Then you need to make sure you have service. So you need to go somewhere that's like developed, right? So you're living in a higher income area, right? All of this stuff eats away at your income, and then what are you left with? A few dollars to your name and a phone.
I think there's
it's like we talked about.
There's an area in West Virginia where
it's
called the quiet zone.
Yeah.
And there's no internet there. I think you can have, like,
I forget why. I remember reading about that place. It's like maybe 2 hours south of us, something like that.
Yeah. Why is it like that?
It's for testing. Either
like they have like towers that.
It's either.
Well, there are people who purposefully live in this quiet zone area because, you know, they don't want to live with the constant noise and the constant distractions of modern life. And I think it's making people miserable, but they can't stop feeding into it. They can't stop leaning in. It's literally behavior of addiction to any drug, any substance.
Yes, absolutely.
It has all of the same markers, but it's sort of like food addiction, where it can be the most difficult because you can never get away from it. I mean, obviously food, but the internet is so entrenched in how we live our lives. You have to use it to, like, buy tickets to a concert, and you have to use it to download the QR code menu at any trendy restaurant that you might go to. And you need it for even government applications,
National Park Service, right? You want to go out and get nature and get away from it all. Oh, but you have to buy a ticket.
Or to find out when any of these businesses are open, or to get directions to anywhere you go, because nobody has a sense of direction anymore.
I think this is probably an East Coast bias, though, a little bit, this super online, because I think you do, like, as you get west and you get, like, you know, the flyover country, you can really get away from it all pretty easily. I think, you know, the East Coast has been.
Well, if you're living in a smaller place, you go to the same businesses every day. You don't have to.
But even like West Virginia has nothing when it comes to being rural on somewhere like Montana or Wyoming, right? Like, truly, like, no people around. Not really that much infrastructure, so it's easier to get out.
Well,
it's
even
easier.
Those places are getting colonized.
Oh yeah, it's inevitable.
Californians, so they won't have long.
It's inevitable, and the internet has made it possible that you don't need to live right next to your friends. Like, you can live an hour and a half away because you can keep up with them, right? So it's tough. It's tough. It's tough because it's not easy just to, like, get away from it all. You have to make an active effort.
And to me, it really is Twitter that does it. I won't pretend like the other social medias do the same. Like Instagram, for me, everything I see is humor, and it's like skits and stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't drag down your mood necessarily, but you're still getting a whole crap ton of blue light just shoved in your face, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not healthy for you. But Twitter is where I go to read a bunch of stuff that makes me angry that I will then forget 10 seconds later.
You know, what sucks me in with Twitter is that it's supposed to be the news.
Yeah.
And then
it's not, though.
If every 10th post is like something actually newsworthy, in between it is all opinion garbage and stuff, or rage bait,
AI,
bots, AI,
sex bots.
Yeah. So it's all this garbage in an attempt to actually get to the most breaking and pertinent news.
A lot of that comes from the new ad revenue model that Elon introduced, which has its positives and its negatives.
I did have to use Twitter last night because when I found out the thing about the presidential assassinations, I had to tell someone, so I had to tweet about it. Otherwise,
did you mention it already?
No. Okay.
You need to explain it because it's insane.
I found out last night that all 4 members of my immediate family, meaning me, my brother, my dad, and my mom, were all born on the anniversary of presidential assassinations.
Yeah.
You too?
That's really...
Yes, me too.
Interesting.
Really weird, right?
Lincoln, Garfield, Trump, and JFK.
It's not as crazy as you think. My one brother...
I think it's pretty crazy.
My one brother was born on Pearl Harbor. The other one was born on D-Day.
Yeah, but these are 4 people with one very specific thing.
This is like so specific, and it's actually kind of disturbing.
Yeah, what happened was we were watching an episode of Bones that had to do with the JFK assassination, and they mentioned the date, and I'm like, oh, that's my brother's birthday. And then I went and I was just curious. I went to Wikipedia. See, you're stuck on your phone. You're doom scrolling.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm going to go look up the other, presidential assassinations. And as I just went down, I just kept being more surprised as the dates lined up. Mm-hmm. It was wild.
All right, we're short on time, so we should finish up these super chats. Surenko Productions said, could you imagine if Taylor Swift pulled an RFK?
She won't do it.
If she came out and endorsed Trump?
You're talking about millions of dollars in lost revenue.
It depends. How militant are the Swifties? Would they
militant.
go along with her?
They'd boycott.
Or would they all disown her?
They'd boycott. It would split. It would fracture the fan base because people equate with Trump with being against Palestinians. That's what I'm saying. This is all
for the chronically online ones, yes, but
No. These are why there's protests at every college campus, and there's protests in the streets. This is something that broke through the online.
Yeah, but I have to assume that the majority of young women going to Taylor Swift concerts don't give a flying fuck about politics.
Need to.
Only the most chronically online ones even talk about it.
I think abortion has changed that.
That
discussion.
too, abortion, Palestine, to fit in with
Palestine,
this culture.
much less than abortion.
But all of this stuff, you have to check every box or you get rejected. That's the culture they've created.
That was what I was going to say. Is it's literally one of those things. The reason why the right can't build coalitions is because they're too willing to disagree with each other on ideas. You're not allowed to be like, I want to be able to abort my baby, but I'm not sure about climate change.
We had a guy on the culture war. He's an activist. Vote Democrat. Very, very liberal guy. He's a registered independent. Ran for mayor of Chicago. Dude, he has liberal pundits that have basically blacklisted him all across the country because he's just kind of showed a difference in opinion. He's not conservative or Republican by any stretch. I'd honestly consider him Democrat, even though he's an independent, but they rejected him. They threw him out of the camp because he just kind of disagreed. Just a little bit.
You can't do it. That's why they're so good at...
If Taylor Swift tweeted the N-word, what would they do?
They think she got hacked.
But if we found out that she really did it,
how would we find out? There's video for
later on. I mean, or whatever, a video of Taylor Swift saying the N-word. What would they do? I want to know. What would they do? Would they all
that's a better question than Trump? Yeah.
Have a psychotic break and go into a mental institution for the rest of their lives? It would just completely shatter their entire view of their idol.
They'd be like, I liked Lana Del Rey more anyways.
They defend her initially and say, guys, something's obviously not right with Taylor.
Yeah.
Right now, more than ever, she needs our support.
Right.
That's how they treat it.
Some stupid thing like that. Pat the Plumber said...
They would blame Travis Kelce. They would say it's Travis Kelce's fault.
Yes. They said this is what toxic masculine energy does.
That's so true. Pat the Plumber said Skibbity Ohio Brat.
Nice.
Yep.
The Rumbling said Brat is women forgiving themselves for being a dick.
Yeah. Like I said, women.
Justifying it. They're not forgiving themselves. They're just justifying
They're
it.
always happy to forgive themselves no matter how awful they've been.
It's the girl boss energy. It's just the latest version of it.
This next one is so funny. I don't know if I should read it. Do you want to read it? This is from Stefan Buttle.
I can't see it.
That one.
JD Vance. Yes, JD Vance to wife. Did you come? Good.
Okay.
Okay.
He said. Here's the thing, though. Whatever she said, yes or no, he says good anyways.
See, okay, okay's not even a bad response. It's about how you deliver the line, because I do that, where I'm like, okay, all right, you're acknowledging what he said, but you're showing a little bit of okay.
How long has he worked there?
It's some DMV energy.
Okay. Whatever makes sense.
Yeah.
Sprinkles.
Sir, what would you like to order? I don't know.
Sprinkles stuff.
You guys should do a skit when these.
You're not a person. You're not a person.
You guys should
You're
do
a lizard.
skits for the channel like this. Have Mary go into Dunkin' Donuts and act like that.
Yeah. Hi.
No, I'm
a podcaster.
This doesn't work with women. This can only.
That's
work
why it
with
would
men.
be funny.
That's why. Because if it's a guy working, they won't care how weird and awkward it is. If it's a woman, they just want to talk to women.
There's a way to do it. It might come off as creepy.
Shane H. Wilder said Amber Heard shitting in Johnny Depp's bed and blaming it on the dog is so Brat.
So Brat.
That was so Brat.
That's true, actually.
Username I'm not going to read said there's no female equivalent of man-child because women are already permanent children. Some would say that. But we don't endorse this, YouTube. Nope. Brewmaster Monk said it's Wise Wiener Wednesday. I don't know how I feel about that.
I guess you're the wise wiener. And frankly, I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know either. Pat the Plumber said there was a lot of room for that show to be good, but she took up all the space unapologetically. Solved it for you, Brad. Let's go.
Bread.
I guess they were saying that Galadriel was taking up space unapologetically.
She's never going to apologize. She's fine, okay?
Corey Anderson said, keep calm and chive on. Was that one of them? From the back when that meme was relevant?
Like when I looked up female empowerment quotes and got like...
Let me look up male empowerment quotes.
They don't exist. It's going to be like, it's going to be a redirect link for like the abuse hotline or something.
A powerful...
Oh my goodness. The first two results literally say black male empowerment quotes. I did not type black. No. That was the first result on Google.
A powerful woman is a heat-resistant and storm-bracing caliper. There is nothing she cannot handle.
Good.
Okay, I'm looking at the first results for male empowerment, and it just says, women are the real architects of society. I have chosen to no longer be apologetic for my femaleness and my femininity. I want to be respected in all of my femaleness because I deserve to be.
Again,
it's the meme.
Word salad.
No, it's the meme. Stop creating fantasies in your head that you then end up getting upset over.
Strong women. Strong women don't have attitudes.
No one
They have high standards and firm boundaries.
Like rare, like
don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind. Be led by the dreams in your heart.
That's like a home goods.
It's a fortune cookie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. We've suffered enough. Yeah. Willem said, so Master Dragon 2024, I could see Brett enjoying a movie like that while everyone else is clawing their eyes out.
See, I'd like to be the positive voice in the room most of the time.
Positivity, Brett. Corey Anderson said, Skibbity Riz Brat, Ohio, diggity dog, no cap, y'all.
Nice.
So true. Shane H. Wilder said, I many times think about posting something, then say it isn't worth it and do something else. I will not apologize for commenting chapter 1 of A Tale of Two Cities to troll Bertman, though. LOL. I didn't see that. He also said Bertman said to comment anything.
He does say that.
He's engagement baiting for ad revenue, and he can't keep getting away with it. He can't. He must be stopped.
We must stop him.
I like someone just did one the other day where it's like, you know that viral video of the men working on the oil rig and he's completely covered and he's just working his ass off. Someone's like, well, maybe if he finished school, he wouldn't have to be on that rig. And it was like obviously just rage bait because everyone were like, oh, dude, that person makes more than you.
Yeah.
That person, you don't have no idea how hard that job is. I'm like, it's a masterclass right there in baiting.
Yep. They've mastered it.
Comes around.
We're gonna hang out here till 5. You know,
yeah,
we don't want to quit early. They get mad when we quit early.
Then you should did you guys cover this Democratic National Brat?
What are you talking
Send
about?
it.
What?
I did.
What now?
I put it in Slack. Just play a few minutes. You can skip around in this video. This guy.
Who did you send it to?
I put it in the Slack.
What in general?
And with both of you.
Oh.
So this guy trolled.
Oh, yes. I love this guy. He's hilarious.
Yes, this is the full video. This guy
Yeah, we need to get this guy on the show.
Would you rather have a democracy or access to abortions?
Either or.
So good.
I feel like that's a very tough question to answer. I feel like that's almost not possible to answer. I feel like I couldn't pick one or the other.
See, remember that they're not allowed to diverge from their objectives.
They will sacrifice everything to kill babies.
I had to choose.
No, you're 110% right. They will.
Selfishness. That's
Can we get a final answer? I know it's hard.
It's about me.
I guess access to abortions.
It's Brat Summer. The queen of the brats has arrived. Yes, queen.
Do not come.
Are you as hard as I am right now?
She's something special.
It's good stuff.
Can
so
we
good.
please, this year, it'd be so Brat, have a higher tax rate for rich white men?
Well, if we have a Democratic Congress, we certainly will.
Yeah, baby. Tax those rich old whiteys. Come on. Are you worried Donald Trump's going to weaponize the justice system if he gets in power?
I'm concerned about Project 2025, and it's important that individuals understand that Project 2025 basically consolidates power in the hands of one dangerous man.
Interviewer.
And so it's really critically
Start
important.
prosecuting his political enemies.
Exactly.
Guys, I have to say, you are even more beautiful in person.
Oh, I love him. I love him. Thank you so much.
They're about to
Give me your
kiss on
best
the
pickup line.
lips.
My best pickup line, I'll pay.
We're the cuties of
Okay, that was kind of.
the Democratic Party that are speaking.
Ugh, I don't know. Talk to anyone who lives in D.C. It's hard to find a cute Democrat.
Oh my God, shots fired.
No, that's the tea. Ask anyone who lives in D.C. and who works in Democratic politics. It's hard to find the cute ones.
The Republican guys are hotter.
Yeah, but they're evil. So, I don't know.
We kind of love evil. Oh my God.
I feel like
She's like, they kind of want to stop me from killing my kids, so I don't know.
It's all just posturing.
You are so bad. It's time to call it the red carpet, the blue carpet, because the conservatives have literally no cool famous people. What do you eat after a long day at Congress? Did you get your vasectomy yet? Oh, it's gonna be a wild weekend, baby. Tim Walz has the best shot in Congress. Who has the best back shot? One final game. Yes queen or no queen, okay?
I'll give you a yes or no.
Okay.
Amazing.
Can you do yes queen or no queen? Or?
I can't do that. I can't
Oh,
do
really? Free abortions.
yes, queen.
Free gender affirming care for migrants.
Yes, queen.
Child tax credits for dogs.
Yes, queen.
Ban standardized testing.
Yes, queen.
Yeah, my ADD is so crazy. Get rid of those things, please.
Yes, queen. Yeah.
Amazing. Different tax rate for white men.
Yes, queen.
Amen, sister. Love you. Love her energy. She's a yes queener. My girlfriend needs to get an abortion. Could you help me cover it up? Please? I need help. I need to do it a discreet way. Oh. Asshole. Romeo, wherefore out there, Romeo?
Sorry.
Romeo, wherefore out there, Romeo? Who do you think has a bigger lightsaber, Donald Trump or Joe Biden?
He should work with BG Company.
Dude, yeah. This
Wait,
guy,
what did he say? What did he say?
come on. Really?
And what's the best way a guy could approach you?
Approach me, I guess, with a microphone and a couple of a seersucker suit, a microphone, and my daughter.
Could I be a good stepdad? So some Gen Z doubters of Kamala have noted her record persecuting people for weed. I'm a stoner. I use it for PTSD. Do you think that era is so over? She's so over that?
I think that even in the period of the Biden-Harris administration, they have been working very hard in order to say no.
What about coke and stuff?
Excuse me?
What about coke?
In her, I would have to look at it, but
decriminalize the drugs, baby.
Thank you, sir.
Coke for the boys.
Thank you.
Is Kamala so us?
She's so us because she's Brat. Kamala is Brat.
She is so Brat. What does Brat mean?
Brat is you're like a party girl, but you go out at really late at night and you fall asleep with all your makeup on. And
I have to love Kamala being in a menage a trois at one point.
Is that guy wearing a button that said "Not another bomb"?
I don't know.
He has a Brat badge.
Brat Summer. Get the best Kamala laugh ever.
Oh my God, she has the best laugh.
Joy. We love joy. We're all about joy.
Go Kamala.
Okay, how do we guarantee equity of joy?
Equity of joy will flow forth from Kamala. It's just a given and part of her.
We are manifesting.
It's coming to
people say vibes don't matter, but we are manifesting our nation.
It to you.
Oh, we have woman of color. And we also have Tim Walz. What a great example for the body positive community. What do you think Tim Walz can be as an inspiration for body positive people?
a young man came to him and said, we want to have a gay club here at our high school. And he said, I'm going to lead that because I need to be
He's like a gay leader.
Don't cry, she's here.
It's happiness.
Brad Summer.
Brad who?
Brad Summer, yes.
I don't know what that
Yes.
You're actually Mamala, Kamala, Bamala, Shambhala.
Okay. Shamala, 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 Shamala.
Inshallah, Kambala. We make it white alpha dudes for Harris.
I don't know about all that.
White alpha. I mean, look at me. I'm not just any white dude. I'm an alpha white dude. I am supreme being of the species white dudes for Harris.
I mean, I love that for you.
There's no tax on tips. Do we think we can get that through?
I think so. I mean, look.
Because I do like OnlyFans and stuff, and it's like on the side of this, and so I want to just make sure that, you know, I get those things directly, and I feel like I work so hard for that, right?
Yeah.
So
we should be able to get it done.
Dude, this guy,
I mean, the fact that
he's so
Trump
good.
has said he favors it. We'll see. I mean,
yeah, but he Kamala did it in a better way. He made it first, but Kamala's way was like way more Brat.
For sure.
When Kamala said it was way
Okay,
more
we're not even halfway through.
Yeah, dude, it's you
have to
guys
do
have
our
to finish
outros.
it, but I want to shout him
That
out.
guy's a genius.
It's at no cap on God for real FR on
Yeah.
YouTube. So
I
if you guys want
wanted
to check
to
out
have
that
him on
video,
the show. I wonder if
he's not
I
that.
could reach out.
What's crazy is this blew up, but he was not that big
Yeah.
before. But the funny thing is, though, he's never gonna be able to do this again. Like this is.
Oh yeah, they'll see his face. They'll know he's on the most wanted list.
Yeah. Like he's gonna have to start giving.
It was
people,
all worth it.
Getting
I'm
the
so
ear of
like,
someone.
how is he even able to get interviews with that many people?
Oh, he's a fantastic actor, though.
I guess he was just so good at convincing them that he's gay.
I mean, he's a phenomenal actor.
The top comment says women really let their guard down when they think they're talking to a gay man.
Oh yeah. We have a 20 from Rhaegar Targaryen. Thank you for this. I am now deceased.
Dude, it gets so much better because then he moves outside to the pro-Palestine protest. So that one, he's very good.
One of the comments says choosing abortion over democracy is wild.
Democracy
And I'm
or
like,
abortion?
how about neither?
If I had to choose.
All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Let's get to that. I was hoping we'd get to the second crisis party before the end of the show. But we got one more there from Greg Duvier.
Is this a troll? Yes, it was a troll, and it was an expert troll.
Yes. All right, Kellen, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys can follow me at Kellen PDL. I'm going to shout this guy out again. If you want to finish watching that video, at no cap on God FR.
He deserves
on
the
YouTube.
credit.
Yeah, it's a fantastic video, masterclass. So check that out. And yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
Okay. You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
All right, guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix, at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you prefer to listen rather than watch the show. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix, at popculture_show, Facebook, and not TikTok, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram, at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be up. There's one more there from Shane H. Wilder. He says, put a girl on. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.